Country Racing Series presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We are here in Society Hill, South Carolina for this, the FMF Camp Coke.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Good afternoon and welcome to round number 5 of the 2023 Grand National Cross Country Racing Series presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We are here in Society Hill, South Carolina for this, the FMF Camp Coker Bullet. Johnny, finally, we had a change-up in round number 4. Bryson Neal with some mechanicals. I got to hand it to him, though. Just when we thought, man, this guy's out of point contention on the day, he goes into salvage mode, comes away with an 11.08.
You know, there's an old saying, championships are won on your bad days. I believe if we look back at the end of 2023, and it is, in fact, Bryson Neal atop the championship leaderboard after 12 rounds of racing, we'll point to round 4 and say that was the day when he was able to seal the deal. Could have easily been a no-points day for him, could have handed over the points lead and been having to fight from the back. Instead, calm, cool, collected, gets the machine repaired, gets out there well outside the top 20 overall. Only the top 20 overall scores points in GNCC racing for the championship overall. Therefore, comes back, fights his way up through, comes back all the way to 11th place overall, gaining 19-20 valuable points in that championship, maintains the leader's points, reverse plate.
Really needed all of them, too, because with the win, Hunter Hart puts himself now 3 points back from the points lead, and then you go 1 more point back, Cole Richardson in third. So things have tightened up. I think it's still Bryson Neal's championship to lose. He's still in the driver's seat, obviously, but he showed he's human.
We saw the question finally answered. Who would be the first one to step up and take a win away from, obviously, Bryson Neal? The guy that got it done was Hunter Hart. He came out on top of a torrid battle between himself and Cole Richardson all the way to the final corners. I mean, those guys were beating and banging. It was amazing racing action to watch. But he and Cole are both right there. And at this point, those three have really established themselves as the three that kind of got themselves in that championship conversation right now at the moment.
I'm throwing in a wild card. John Glada, outside of the one where he missed because of illness, he has been just off the podium or finally getting on the podium. He's right there, Johnny. He could be really a big shaker.
You know, Mikey, a breakthrough ride for John Glada Jr. at Tiger Run in more ways than one. Yes, it was a podium, but more important than that, charged from the back, got to the lead, and then an untimely miscue, had a run-in with the tree. I'm told the same tree 2 laps in a row, pushed him back outside that battle for the lead, but still coming in solidly in a 3rd place position. His first podium of 2023, and as you pointed out, 4th in the other 2 rounds, minus the one where he had the food poisoning. So definitely in the conversation as well. So many fast guys in that XC1 class, and it's going to be good racing action here today.
Can't wait to get to it. Got to highlight the XC2 as well. Steve Harrell, we got to mention his name, man. A perfect 4 for 4 to start the year. He's been challenged, but I don't know what else to say. 4 for 4, can he make it 5 for 5 today?
You know, I wouldn't bet against him because confidence is a dangerous thing. It's contagious. You know, he's super confident right now. He's been able to pull hole shots and pull away and win races from the front. He's also been able to come through the pack and make passes on these guys late. He really, truly is the class of our XC2 field here in 2023, and his 4 consecutive wins really highlight that.
Exciting stuff. Hey, you've heard it from Johnny and I. We got to catch up with last race winner, Hunter Hart. We'll throw it down with Jackson Burrell and Hunter Hart.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm here with Hunter Hart. Hunter, you're one of 2 people to win in the 2023 season in the XC1 class. Take me through it. How does it feel?
Yeah, you know, it's super cool. Pumped to get that monkey off my back. We've been building on it, you know. Goal is still to just be in the fight every weekend and just be there. It'll be nice, you know, having Bryson, you know, hopefully not have an issue this weekend. I wish that we could have gone wheel to wheel last weekend, but no, it'll be good. I'm super excited to grab a win. You know, that's my third win in XC1, so it's good. We're just building there and just going to keep going this weekend.
After last race, only a few points separating y'all. What's the plan going forward? How does it feel? Take me through that.
Yeah, you know, just ironically, Mark Notman, my mechanic, and I were talking, and he told me, he was like, you've got to stop the bleeding, dude. We've got to just stop the bleeding. And, you know, we did a pretty good job of that. And, you know, we cut it down to, I think it's 3. 3-point lead. You know, and that's good. You know, it's basically like we're at round 5, and it's basically we're back to zeros across the board, and it's nice. You know, anything can happen. It's a long season, and I'm excited just to be there. You know, gotta be consistent to be there when any opportunity arises.
I've got to ask you, how do you feel here at the Camp Coker Bullet? Do you like this track? Is this going to be around for you?
Oh, I'm stoked, dude. It's like Florida, a little wetter here. I've been in Florida nonstop since the GNCC banquet, so we're going on about 4 months now with sand, and yeah, it's good. It feels like home. My setup's darn near dialed for these type of conditions, and it's good. I mean, it's going to be hot tomorrow, which I think will play in my favor. You know, been soaking up that Florida sun, and yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to be here. I've gotten some dirt bike wins here as well, and we've enjoyed our fair share of success here in the sand, and I'm excited to just carry that momentum into this weekend.
All right, so we're going to be sand surfing?
Sand surfing is back.
All right, guys, that's Hunter Hart.
Well, good to hear from Hunter Hart. Obviously very hungry coming into today. Got that first win under his belt. Can he go out and get another one? Going to be challenging. Hey, you've heard from me and Johnny. You've heard from Hunter Hart. Now, let's see what we've got in store as far as the track is concerned. We'll throw it to Jared Bolton with the Yamaha course description.
Well, thanks, guys, and welcome back to Camp Coker. This is a beautiful piece of property with a great racetrack on it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say there's a little something for everyone, but if you like tight trails, this place is definitely for you. It's definitely a little on the tighter side for the quads. Then you get out in those open fields, opens up a little bit. But even when you're in the tight trails, there's lots of opportunities for passing. Good flowy trails in areas, good tight, twisty trails in areas. Really, really awesome piece of property. And the views here are just phenomenal. There's nice green fields, there's ponds, there's swimming, there's fishing. There's a little bit of everything for everybody. Not just the racers, but moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, the kids. Everybody has a good time when they come to Camp Coker. And of course, like I said, that racetrack, a little bit on the tight side, and we even got some stuff for the motorcycles. Single track, really good stuff. A little more like a true old school enduro in places. Phenomenal venue, love coming here, and it also produces some great racing, which we hope to see more of that today. That's this weekend's track description. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jared, for the insight to today's track here at the Camp Coker GNCC. We're now going to throw it to some of our sponsors while this guy here goes over and makes some 10-second calls on the starting line.
GNCC Racing is brought to you by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. We are just about ready to light them up now, and right on cue. If you are out and about throughout the great United States of America, wherever you're watching RacerTV.com, we welcome you to this round number 5 of the 2023 Grand National Cross National Championship here in Society Hill, South Carolina, for the FMF Camp Coker Bullet. And as you tune in on TV, we are ready for our pro rider introductions. Riding to the line first. He's first in points. He's the defending champion, the #1 CST Hauser Racing backed Phoenix Racing Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Riding to the line next, the #3 Hart Racing Ithaca Recreation Sports backed Yamaha, Hunter Hart. Riding to the line third, the #4 out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on a Richardson Racing Action Off-Road back Yamaha, the Coltrane Cole Richardson. Riding to the line next, the 5-2-1 out of Waverly, West by God, Virginia, on an Ober Tires Moose Racing backed Honda, the Gator, Adam McGill. Riding to the line next, the #6 out of Acme, Pennsylvania, on an Action Off-Road Pierce Performance backed Yamaha, Jay Shadron. Riding to the line next, the 7-1-2 out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, on a Pierce Performance backed Yamaha, John Glada Jr. Riding to the line next, the #14, the winningest rider in GNCC history aboard that Action Off-Road AMSOIL back Yamaha, Chris Borich. Riding to the line next. Ooh, mama, there goes that man. Someone remind him he's a rookie. Out of Hillsboro, Ohio, on the SPR GBC back Yamaha, Wyatt Wilkin. Riding to the line next, the #9 out of Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR GBC backed Honda, the Cobra, Jared McClure. Riding to the line next, the #11 out of Akron, Ohio, on an Action Off-Road GBC tires backed Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Riding to the line next, the 7-0-3 out of Petersburg, Indiana, on an Abney Racing and Action Off-Road back Yamaha, Austin Abney. And last but certainly not least, the 7-1-4 out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on a Bulletproof Doors B&R Motorsports backed Yamaha, Ronnie Rush. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your starting row for the XC1 Pro Class for this, the FMF Camp Coker Bullet. And as our riders make their way to the starting line, row #1, your Pro Class, and DJ Judd hops into the RMAX 1000, and we ask you, DJ Judd, remove the meat. Is that good, big dog? All right. It's the sparkle helmet for me. You know how we do. Which way you going, Judd? He's coming right at me. Got to keep your head on a swivel down here. Figurative swivel, okay? Race the track in front of you. That's for the riders. All attention now. Gonna turn down into turn #1, where the maestro himself, Ricky Towery, stands by to go through the motions. Round #5. What do we find out in round #4? Bryson Neal is human. Suffered a mechanical, fought and clawed his way back to an 11th OA. Salvage points. I don't like the term, but it is what it is. 1 minute until we are ready to go. FMF Camp Coker GNCC Racing. So will Bryson Neal rebound here today? Return to his winning ways? Will Hunter Hart pick up where he left off and go grab his second win of the season? Ricky Towery now looking down at the watch and waving of the blue flag. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, as we are just about ready to roll now. Shut him down. All right, here we go, finally. All right, South Carolina, Camp Coker Bullet, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Ooh, that's pretty good, but my goodness, the weather is beautiful. We've had some great racing here today, and you're in store for some more. So I'm going to ask you one more time, Camp Coker Bullet, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? 10 seconds for row number 1, the XC1 Pro. Bang, and they're off. And the XC1 Pro Class jockey for position. Oh! How about the move by John Glottum? The 7-1-2 making a grown man move on the defending champ. Grabs the whole shot and early lead as we turn our attention now to the XC2 Pro-Am Class whole shot award up for grabs. Steve Harrell, who's going to stop that man? Jeremy Ladon, Charles Dunn in 10 seconds. Grayson Eller, Brandon Owens, Gabriel Nod, Kenny Schick, Daniel Peters, Chase Allison, Lane McCormick, Albert Jadis, Dylan Walraven, Tanner Walker, and James Glottum. Ooh, 9:28. That's James Glottum. Oh, it's a good day to be a Glotta. Loving it. Grabbing a whole shot in the XC2 class as we turn our attention to Junior A 20 plus in 10 seconds. Seth Wilson, Henry Moore, Colston Kushta, Dalton Keys, Riley Salick, William Wallace, Alex Elioff, Justin Miller, Logan Case, Joel Gagnon, William Walden, Zach Knight, Travis Blanish, Hunter Johnson, Devin Masters, Corey Vandelender, and Cameron Abey. It's going to be the 1, 2, 3 of Dalton Keys. Board the Honda out of Indiana. Here we go with the College A, 16-19 now. Keaton Henderson, Briggs Lizelle, Parker Henderson in 10 seconds. Alex Tiemann, Charlie Stewart, Andre Williams, Christopher Howard, Connor Brandt, Trevor Furby, Elijah Edmondson, Caden Lambruno, Tavin Cook, Kai Arbogast, Dominic Stevens. Oh, a little bottled up there in turn number 1. That's going to be the 087 of Alex Tiemann out of Waterford, Ohio, aboard the Yamaha. As we turn our attention now to the Senior A 40 plus class. Ooh, one more rider. Slow to get off the line. Senior A 40 plus, Brad Whitehead, Todd Muscala, Rick Marino. 10 seconds. Derek Hart, Dirk DeCerci, TJ Barrett, Zachary Phillips, and Chris Conklin. Woo, look at the drive right up the inside. Has to check up a bit, back on the throttle. Power to the ground, and it's going to be the 030 of Brad Whitehead on that ECS Honda out of Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania, with the whole shot and early lead there. Here we go with a Vet A 30 plus. Nick Davidson, Cameron Crawford, Christopher Kirby, Matthew Silsby in 10 seconds, and David Muchisco. And here we go. Two-way battle, little bumping in turn 1. We're about it, playing in the sand. 228, Nick Davidson on that B&R Motorsports GBC-backed Yamaha, grabbing the whole shot. And here we go for the Junior B class in 10 seconds. Michael Worth, Reardon Doran, Hunter Boyle, Pat Davis, Connor Adar, Caleb Adar, John Husky, Trace Furby, Donnie Abrams, Gavin Temple, Hunter Godsey, Paul McCloskey, Clayton Kawasaki, Tavis Dudley. 403 on the bike. It's 403 on scoring. That's Gavin Temple out of Hillsboro, Ohio, on that Kenda Tires back ride. College B 16-18, 10 seconds. William Whitty, Bryson Bellamy, Hunter Rennick, Alex Goss, Jake Neely, Hayden Hunter, David Witt, Ryan Hendershot, Damian Kester, Peyton Wilson, Denton White, Nicholas Daring, Nick Foreman, Adam Schafel, Nate Blanchard, Aiden Jones, Latarian Horton, gonna go to the 4-2-0 of Denton White on a Young Cycle Works
and LS4 Fibers back Yamaha out of Ohio. One rider getting a little turned around, going to get her fired up. Yes, he can. Go get him, bud. Little making up to do. That was the 704. Aiden Jones got his work cut out for him now. Senior B 40 plus in 10 seconds. Shane Worth, Scott Gross, Jason Lemmy, Travis Flemling, Bobby McCauley, Jeff Davis, Mike Horwatt, and Luke DeCerci. Senior B 40 plus, jockeying for position. Who's going to come out in front? That's going to be the 406 out of Mount Morris, Pennsylvania on the Honda, Jason Lemley. Here we go, Vet B 30 plus now. 10 seconds. Taylor Griffith, David Kite, Lorio Fernandez, Ken Bauer, Mark Delano, Daniel Norman, Matthew Hartwell, John Higgins, and Robert Henson. All right, all riders off the starting line. Let's see how it's shaken down. Good and clean through turn number 1. The 819 of John Higgins on a Red Bear Racing backed Yamaha to Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Grabs that whole shot and early lead, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for our starting rows here. We're going to take a short commercial break, get a word in from our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll bring you all the action on Racer TV here from the FMF Camp Coker Bullet.
All-new Yamaha YZ450F. Narrower, more compact, and lighter. Built to do one thing: go faster. Flexible financing options offered directly through Yamaha are available. See your local Yamaha dealer today.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees and you're doing 230s and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
GNCC Racing is brought to you by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the 2023 FMF Camp Coker Bull at GNCC. This is round number 5 of the Grand National Cross Country Series and AMA National Championship. My name is Jackson Burrow, and I'm alongside Zach Heron. And, of course, you've already heard from our main man, Mikey Waynes, with the 10-second calls. We will be joined later with Johnny G and Cody Collier. But for now, Zach, let's get to the action on the track.
Yeah, you said it, Jackson. What a race we've got going on here at round number 5. Camp Coker, and coming off of the last race, so many things going on. With Bryson Neal having the issues, Hunter Hart grabbing the first win of the season, along with Coltrane, once again, putting it on the box. But one of the big names, John Glada Jr. He's able to get that first podium of the season. And whenever we do go and look at the start replays, you guys will check it out. Look at that. Look at that. It's like I timed it. This is the Specialized start recap here, and we got a lot of things going on at the front of the pack here, and you'll see why that joke was funny here in just a second. The XC1 replay coming through. It looked like it was going to be Bryson Neal. Got a great drive, but you see at the bottom of your screen going way in deep, almost coming off of the ATV. John Glada, that is what you call 100% commitment, and he was able to grab that whole shot. I believe that was, not sure whether Neal looks about third going into the woods. But yeah, some contact there between John Glada Jr. and Bryson Neal, but Glada leads them into the woods. Now, we take a look at the XC2 replay. Look at the drive once again at the bottom of the screen. Who else? James Glada. Glada things going on at the front of the pack. I still think that's pretty funny. Whatever they've got going on, you see how much better of a drive he got coming out of there on the XC2 line. Not sure whether there was not as much sand, whether he was able to get some type of grass, whatever shot him out. The Glada family's got it figured out right now, and they are looking good. That was your Specialized start recap. And as far as we know, it should still be John Glada Jr. out front, unless we have missed a pass right now. So taking a look at your Yamaha live drone, and as we always say, Jackson, how awesome is it to have that drone to be able to see what's going on over top?
Oh, it's the best, Zach. This is what we've been talking about, Zach. Glada, did he get the confidence that he needed? Is that the boost that he needed to say, you know what, I'm going to get up here? He definitely was being assertive in that start there, so I'm sure there's some big things to come from John Glada today.
Oh, one rider coming off the track there, trying to see who that was. Couldn't quite see the name on the back of the jersey. But to your point, Jackson, yeah, absolutely. I think most people walked away from Tiger Run saying, wow, I can't believe Bryson Neal didn't win. I can't believe, Hunter Hart got his first win of the season. I don't think as many people were sitting there going, wow, John Glada Jr. looked really good there, and he fought hard to be able to get on that podium. It's a name that we haven't said as much as we'd like. Obviously, John Glada had the food poisoning issue earlier in the season as well. So he's somebody with maybe not as much to lose in the point standings, and everything to gain as far as trying to grab individual race wins.
Most definitely, Zach, and it looked like Hunter Hart was still able to hold on to that second place position. As you know, he was the winner at the last round, so maybe that was the confidence he needs to do it. I know that he's been putting in some strong rides all year. Mechanical last race from Bryson Neal. Hunter got the win. It was a tough fought battle for Hunter to get that win. Cole Richardson right there on him. So I'm excited for today to see how things are going to shape up. I'll be the first to say it. I think Bryson Neal is going to have a vengeance. I think he's going to come out hard at this race to prove to everybody that he is the top dog.
Yeah, I think you said it, Jackson. We talked a little bit earlier, you know, what kind of Bryson do we expect to see this weekend? I do. It's the final round here in the South. Not a super long break before we go up north, but I do think this is a time in the series where your racers are going, hey, I want to be able to leave the Southern races saying I was the top dog, I'm in a good position. And Bryson obviously having that mishap, but that was something where it was a mechanical issue. He took full responsibility of it even in his interview, but that's not a mistake. He didn't pick a bad line and go down. He didn't run into the back of somebody or something like that. And so if you're Bryson Neal, you're sitting here saying, I probably would have won that race if that hadn't have happened. Now, on the complete opposite side, if you're Hunter Hart, if you're Cole Richardson, if you're John Glada Jr., you're sitting there saying, hey, that's part of GNCC racing. You know, stuff happens, mechanicals happen, conditions get rough, and you got to be prepared for it all, and that's what makes us the best of the best. So Hunter Hart, I definitely think, is coming to show that he can do it regardless of what happens to Bryson Neal. And Bryson Neal's coming to show you need me to have a mechanical if you want that top step of the podium.
And Zach, you brought up a great point there about the Southern rounds. We're going to be leaving the Southern rounds after this round. We'll be heading towards Ohio, West Virginia, up into that area. And so a lot of guys, it's a pivotal moment for them as they do better at some of the other rounds. So we'll see how it's going to play out here for the last Southern round of the series for the year.
Now taking a look at that Yamaha Live Drone once again, one of the more open sections you can see. Those ATVs just...
I believe, Zach, that's Hunter Hart moved into the first place position there.
That's what I was looking at. That fluorescent gear there, I don't believe was what Glada was wearing. I think that's him still in second. And is that Bryson there in third as well? One of the more open sections there, really good for us getting to get a quick look at them. Now we take a look at the Method Race Wheels Method Alley. And look at that, we're getting a great look. Look at how tight that is there for those ATV riders there, Jackson.
And Zach, we're back in the sand. We were in Florida. I don't think this is quite as rough, quite as grueling as Florida was, but nonetheless, we're still in sand. It's still a different terrain than most of our GNCC courses.
Absolutely, and as you heard Jared Bolton say in his race preview, you know, a little tighter course. So we're getting a great look at it right now, especially for these ATVs, but a mixture of the tightness as well as the sand is going to shape up differently than we saw in Florida. Florida, it got hot. That sand got almost silty, and so here in South Carolina, you know, it's going to be similar but different, if you will, and that seems to be what everybody's been saying about this South Carolina soil. But when it comes to the number one, I think full steam ahead, nothing's really changed, and I believe we were actually able to get an interview with Bryson. We'll play for you guys here in just a second.
Every couple miles, I just kind of slow up and peek over the front of the bike and just make sure that A-arm bolt was staying in. So it, you know, obviously it's a long year and you want to stay healthy and you don't want to just, you know, me 3 or 4 years ago, I would have never stopped and looked at that bolt. You know, I would have just gave it heck and just tried to ride that thing for all it's worth. But every couple miles, I just made sure it was still in there. After a lap, I was like, all right, it's staying. And man, there's only one way to go, and that's go. You know, I knew I had a chance to try to get some points on the board and try to get something out of the day. So we laid down we put down our head and we was able to lay down some hot laps. I think we was able to make up like a minute 45 on the leaders in the last 2 laps. So we definitely was, you know, the CST tires, Hauser shocks, Hauser A-arms, Elka shocks by Impact Solutions, Phoenix Racing Yamaha. It's rolling really good. Everything's feeling great for us. So we're really, you know, happy to how the bike worked on that day because, man, it was a really tough track. With the rain that we got that morning, the morning made it a really, really deep, ruddy, racy race. So, you know, we're just, old man and me, we went home, got this bike tight and right as best we could, and hopefully go out here tomorrow and have a good day. I would say, you know, There's so many things that go into a championship, especially for a GNCC. You know, there's so many things that are in your control, out of your control. So many different racetracks we visit, mud, sand, dirt, so many different scenarios and challenges. There's sometimes you get an awful start and there'll be blinding dust. There's sometimes that, you know, it'll be the deepest, nastiest mud race you've ever been thrown in. So I would say that it always comes back to experience. You got to go through these things. You got to be in these situations. And you know, like what happened to us last weekend at Tiger Run. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, it was awful. But at the end of the day, you know, we came up with a solution that way that upper A-arm boat will never do that ever again. So that's what it's about. You know, you go through things and you come out on the other side. You learn, and I'm one of those guys that when I get burned, that's usually when I learn. So I always got to learn it the hard way.
Bryson Neal, I tell you, one of my favorite things about him, whether it's good or bad, he's more than happy to tell you what he's got going on, and he always seems calm, cool, collected, not stressing about it too much. So great to hear Bryson and hear his mentality's not too bad after the mishap.
And Zach, speaking of Bryson Neal, he was talking this morning about the sand. He likes the sand. He likes this kind of roughness. He seemed like he was prepared. He said he was ready to go in head first. So I'm excited to see what he can do here. But not only him, Hunter Hart trained since the banquet until the beginning of this year in Florida. So he's used to the sand as well.
Yeah, you said it, Jackson. I mean, it's so dynamic. It's not just Bryson. It's not just Hunter. Cole's in the mix as well. A lot of people forget before he had that issue and got stuck, Cole was right there all over Hunter. It was anybody's race. They both knew how important it was to try to take advantage of the rare mistake that you saw from Bryson Neal. So expect big things from Cole Richardson and then John Glada Jr., especially with the start that he just got there. You could clearly tell he really wanted that lead. So John Glada trying to make the most of it here as well.
Definitely, Zach. And Bryson Neal, man, you said he made a mistake. He really didn't make a mistake. It was just, I would say, luck's not on his side. If you had a bolt come out, that's just, I mean, there's not much he could have done in that situation. He still was able to salvage an 11th overall last weekend at the last race. So that was something else. Some people saying they thought he might be down to 50th, 11th place is where he finished. So he had a strong ride last week. He said he's ready for the sand. Some of the other riders, they said they weren't too happy about it. They were a little worried about how they were going to get wore out throughout this event with the sand, with the rollers, the whole 9 yards. Bryson Neal, he said he's ready.
Yeah, one thing I've never heard Bryson really show too much concern about is that his physical fitness is not going to be there. He seems to have his program put together, him and his dad, you know, working on the ATV. And you saw even when something went wrong with the ATV, he wasn't that rider that sat back and let the team work on it. He was immediately picking up wrenches, trying to get in there and fix it. Really shows how involved in his entire race program there is, not just as an athlete, but as, you know, like his own manager, as his own mechanic. So just shows Bryson Neal really on top of it all the way around. Now let's talk for a second. This is probably my closest to home race, only about an hour and a half from me in North Carolina. Camp Coker, it's my first time here. Beautiful facility.
One of the most beautiful ones we've been to by far. Huge facility here, all kinds of activities. If this is one that you skip on the GNCC series, you want to make sure not to skip it next year, because this place is phenomenal all the way around, from the racing to the activities to do to just the place itself and the beautiful South Carolina soil that we got here. It's such a nice facility. You can't say enough about it.
Yeah, it's been a great time down south so far in 2023. This is our third stop here in South Carolina, but very different compared to the big buck farms that we've seen at round 1 and round 4. So got the sandy soil here, kind of a mix of that black soil and sand. Develops very nicely, a little tighter as far as the racing conditions. In Florida, when we last had sand, that was a little faster of a course. This one going to be a little bit tighter, and quite honestly, we can talk about it, we can speculate all day, but the best way to really find out what's going on is to talk to somebody that's been there and done that. Mr. Johnny G, welcome to the booth.
Hey, thanks for having me in, guys. Yeah, fresh off the track from this morning's 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. race, and yeah, the track conditions themselves, it's actually a pretty good course. That rain that we got last night was just enough to kind of dampen things. Dust kicking up in a few spots, but surprising. I'm gonna really watch closely to see if the track develops different in the afternoon. Incredibly one-lined in the morning. It was just, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to get out of the ruts. They got so deep in that one main line, you would would just lose so much time trying to cross them up and get out of the ruts. It was kind of fastest just to charge that main line. So the track itself, fun, flowy. As you said, a little bit slower pace in sections than Florida, especially. We'll have to see if we have that drone shot for that long single track pine section out back. That is arguably probably one of the tightest, as a complete section, one of the tightest sections in GNCC racing. It's upwards of 2 miles, and you feel like you're over there for quite some time when you enter into that section. Very, very limited passing opportunities, and a lot of back and forth and kind of rowing your way through the trees. But I think it's going to provide a track today for these guys that I heard you guys announce. It sounded like John Glauda Jr. got the XC1 hole shot, and his brother James Glauda getting the XC2 hole shot. I think if those guys can kind of hold the main line, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to make passes. I think we're going to basically see if a rider has the speed and they're out front, they're going to be able to pull away, and that rider behind is going to kind of work as a blockade for the riders that are behind them. But if the riders behind are faster, they're going to have to be significantly faster to make passes. I don't think this is the kind of track we're going to see a lot of passing. It's going to be a lot of follow the leader today.
Yeah, some great points there, Johnny. And interesting enough, you talked about how deep some of those ruts were. We were right at the finish line, which we've got on screen right now. You guys can't see it with these specialized banners, but those ruts even right there, we saw several of the 4x4 pros even getting caught up in there, grabbing the middles of the ATVs there. And so at what point, if you're somebody like, let's say, a Hunter Hart or a Bryson Neal, where you're not in that top two, obviously Hunter, I believe they said, is down to 3 points now.
Yep.
He's going to want to try to capitalize on this opportunity. At what point do you start looking outside the main line?
So there is a difference in the dynamic between the morning race and the afternoon race. The afternoon race, these guys are you don't want to say they're going to work together because they're not, but they're going to want to develop passing lines. So they're going to be willing to kind of move out of that main race line. Plus, you got to keep in mind, we've already got 2 hours of racing on this track. Plus, some of the sections have the youth race this morning. Some of the sections even have the micro races from earlier this morning. So the track's starting to get more and more beat up. So that main race line is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Here we see on screen, looks like Hunter Hart out front. Behind him, Bryson Neal. So that is a shakeup. If that is in fact the leaders, and it looks like it is here on the Yamaha Live drone, and this is a fast section coming to the finish. They're going to make a right-hander, a big horseshoe, another right-hander, and then whammo, they are going to be in the chicanes and battling through those specialized banner. And look at this. The only 2 riders to grab wins so far in 23 are out front. The number 3 of Hunter Hart leading the way, and the number 1 of Bryson Neal charging behind him there in that second place spot. Caught just a glimpse of our third place rider. We'll see who it is when they check in here. But here are your top 2 on screen, and quickly, just like that, into the GBC Tires pit stop area and hard on the throttle. Bryson Neal putting all of the pressure on Hunter Hart right now, but Hunter looking pretty comfortable in that number 1 spot.
Yeah, Bryson, it looked like he was really trying to charge hard there in those open areas, leaving the braking off as long as possible. But really, I don't feel like made up a lot of time on Hunter Hart. Seems to be responding well right now.
Guys, let's watch this section right here from the drone. This is going to be one of the best passing opportunities. If Bryson has the speed, there are a couple opportunities here where you can crisscross. There's going to be an outside line coming up here in this right-hander. If Hunter misses it, Bryson would be able to just truck right around the outside. As they come up, if you dive for this inside, the outside is faster. They both take that outside line. The inside is where everybody was going in that morning race, and this is what I'm talking about. We're going to see the track really start to shape up differently. Right now, both of these guys got the lines figured out. Let's keep the drone on this if we can, because this is going to be the best chance for a pass, whether it be Bryson Neal making the pass on Hunter Hart or Hunter Hart able to stop it from happening. About the next minute of racetrack is going to be crucial, because then it goes back into more of that one line. We've got a lot of big, flowy corners right here, and this is going to be their best opportunity to shake things up.
Now, Johnny, let's get your opinion on this. Jackson and I both felt like Bryson Neal's coming into round 5 to make a statement. He said, hey, I had the mishap. I gave you guys one. Let me show you what's going on, though. You're going to need a mechanical if you want that number 1 spot. What do you expect out of the number 1 today?
Yeah, I think Bryson, obviously knowing what he gave up here just 2 weeks ago in South Carolina, back here in South Carolina again, he knows he kind of gave one away. Hunter Hart capitalized on it. All you can do is take your opportunities. That's it. There will not be a pass. That was all of it right there. Well, actually, there's a couple 2 lines coming up here too, but there's a pretty established fast line. Unless Hunter would take a pretty dumb line, it would be difficult for Bryson to make a pass here. But I do think that Bryson kind of needs to reestablish his dominance, and that's likely what's on his mind. You know, Hunter's going to be kind of full of himself in a good way. You know, confidence, that win breeds confidence. Confidence breeds more wins. And, you know, if Bryson can shut that down, make the pass here, and march away from Hunter like he was able to do the first 3 rounds, that's going to put a chink in his armor. But if Hunter's able to stay, you know, ahead of him for even a lap, then another lap, you start to just more and more confidence builds as this is going. You can see they're really starting to get the lines mixed up here. They're starting to work those outside ins, get out of those main ruts, which is actually going to push sand into those main ruts and somewhat make the main race line that was starting to go away good again. It's pretty complex how these courses shape up.
Guys, this is what I've been waiting for, to have Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart going head-to-head like this. With Hunter being in the lead, now's the time. Who is the fastest one? If Bryson Neal can get ahead of him, that'll say a lot. Like Johnny was saying, this is kind of a mental game at this point. If Bryson Neal is able to take the win, then that'll shut everybody down mentally. If Hunter Hart's able to take the win, he is going to be on a different mental note than he has been all season.
You know, there's another thing at play here, and that is just what kind of condition these guys are comfortable in. Obviously, Bryson with a commanding win in the sands of Florida, but Hunter spends his entire fall, winter, and spring in Florida. This guy rides more sand than the sad man himself. He just absolutely lives and breathes at the Croom ORV Park down there in Brooksville, Florida, rides it every single day. He has so much sand experience that as much as this track isn't Florida sand, it's the closest thing you get to it outside of Florida. So if there's ever an opportunity for Hunter to really kind of capitalize on all that time he spends in the sand, it's obviously round 2 in Palatka or here at round 5 at Camp Coker. Look at this. We got him. Oh, that's a tight little left-hander there. And we see Bryson really just kind of has to check up to not run into the back of Hunter. So this is really starting to shake its way out. But Jackson, you're exactly right. I mean, every little bit that Hunter can hold off Bryson, it's just going to be additional confidence for him. But I got to tell you, Bryson looks pretty confident back there in that number 2 spot right now, knowing that he doesn't necessarily have to make the pass on Hunter right now. He's got him where he wants him. But, you know, Hunter certainly is doing everything that he can do. So both of these guys just kind of looking pretty comfy right now. I think if we don't see a move here in the next couple miles, we could see this go on for several laps.
Me and Chuck LeMaster talked about it this morning. He was saying he wanted to be the person in the lead, but in my opinion, I would rather be the guy in second place, especially in Bryson Neal's situation. Bryson knows he has the speed to keep up with these guys. Now he can watch, observe, see where they're going, see where they might be pulling on him a little bit, and if he does get in the lead, he can hammer down in those sections and know where Hunter Hart's going to be strong at.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Bryson is in what we refer to often as the catbird seat. You know, he's letting Hunter break the trail. He's letting Hunter make all the decisions. There's a lot of 2-line sections, and it seems right now that Bryson has just maybe a tiny little bit more pace, because every time he takes another line and Hunter pulls a couple bike lengths on him, he's able to close it back up. So what he's doing is exactly what you just described. He's taking all those alternate lines, figuring out which ones are faster, which ones could be faster. And right now, you know, Hunter's having to make all those decisions at speed. Bryson's just kind of cruising behind him in that mental draft that we've talked about so many times. I think at this point in the race, Bryson being in second is an advantage. Obviously, we get to the completion of lap 2, we likely get through our fuel stops and into lap 3. You know, if he's still sitting back there behind Hunter, if he doesn't have that passing spot picked out, then he could start to find himself in trouble, and then that's where kind of the advantage shifts to Hunter, because he's comfortable leading, he's been leading, and Bryson's got to make the move to get around him. But right now, yeah, I think Bryson's kind of where he wants to be in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, to touch on your point there, Johnny, I was even noticing it looked like Bryson taking a couple of alternate lines. You could clearly say they didn't pay off for him time-wise, but he was able to reel it back in over the next couple of straightaways or so. So it definitely feels like Neal is comfortable with his pace right now behind Hunter Hart.
And there's no question, there are very few riders that are able to ride in that lead position without feeling the pressure behind them. And as much as Hunter is obviously an established race winner and you know, quite an accomplished athlete and has a strong mentality, you know, hearing that revs behind him and knowing it's Bryson, knowing it's the number 1, you know, it's not so much that he might not be intimidated. Surely he's not, but he's having to cover every line. He's having to sprint through the braking bumps to make sure he covers the line. Bryson's able to just kind of click it up a gear, you know, charge where he wants to, save energy where he wants to, now's another time where we're going to see Bryson put the charge on, because this is a chance here. We've got a lot of field turns here. They're going to go up and over, and then there's going to be a sweeping right-hander around a tree. Bryson, you can already see setting it up wide, but Hunter's going to cover that inside and make it very difficult for Bryson to make the pass there. It's going to go back down into some pines here, so the pass is not going to be made in this section. Bryson able to get right up to the rear wheels. Now there is, coming up here, I don't know if we'll have a shot of it, there's a section of pines where there's two lines parallel side by side, and they're so closely matched in speed. The left lane, slower at the top part of the downhill, but it has a much cleaner exit. We're going to see it right here. They're coming into it. They got this sweeping set, this left here, and then it's going to split. Are they both going to take the same line? No. Bryson takes, now watch this. This left line is slower at the top, but here at the end, it gets faster. He's going to come out right next to Hunter, I think, as they come out of this corner. Hunter's got to check up, and Bryson, not able to make it stick. But that left line does get faster towards the bottom, but Hunter could sense him coming. You know he could hear him, and did everything that he needed to do and covered that.
Here we go.
Look at this. Bryson's got a run on him again.
Bryson really carrying some speed through these open sections and using every inch right there, getting off that main line, getting even into some of the grass, and it seems like he goes extremely wide and is able to cut under a lot tighter than Hunter Hart is coming out of some of these corners.
And that's, speaking back to that, that's what I'm talking about, Hunter having to cover those lines. He can't leave that inside open where Bryson's got nobody behind him. He's able to just kind of explore, take those lines, and carry more speed on. Okay, they took alternate lines here as well. That one didn't work out for Bryson at all. Hunter able to actually pull out a little bit of a gap. There we see Cole Richardson, it looked like on screen. Back here at the 3-mile marker, getting another camera shot as they come through. Jared McClure, Wyatt Wilkin. I think we missed a couple guys there. We'll try to get a rundown here. We weren't getting scoring. Oh, here we go. It has checked in. So we'll run down our top 10 as they run, and you guys can let me know if we're missing anybody on screen. Looks like Ronnie Rush. Couldn't tell who that was. Could have been Austin Abney, would be my guess. Or Josh Merritt, one of those two there. So as they run, top 10, Hunter Hart, Bryson Neal, John Glada Jr. there in that number 3 spot. We don't see him in this drone battle, and they checked in at scoring only 4.5 seconds behind. So he's going to have to catch on to those two if he wants to hold the pace. Adam McGill back there solidly in the number 4 spot, 20 seconds behind Glada, though. Already starting to see those gaps open up. Just behind Adam McGill, it was Ronnie Rush, Chris Borch, Jay Shadron, Cole Richardson, Josh Merritt, and Jared McClure rounding out the top 10 here from the Camp Coker Bullet. We're going to throw it to a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more racer action on Racer TV.
All-new Yamaha YZ450F. Narrower, more compact, and lighter. Built to do one thing: go faster. Flexible financing options offered directly through Yamaha are available. See your local Yamaha dealer today.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida, where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees, and you're doing 230s, and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall, I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
I'm seven-time GNCC champion Walker Fowler, and I run GBC.
Like a bullet into the first turn, the number one with the pink helmet and pink bars. It is Walker Fowler, the seventh.
Fist bump. You should be proud of yourself, Devin Feehan. What a ride today.
I'm Devin Feehan, and I run GBC.
I'm Josh Merritt, and I run GBC.
I'm Chris Borch,
and I run
GBC.
The United States Motorcycle Coaching Association has been setting a standard for motorcycle coaching since 2016. Coaching is important for all riders, no matter the age or skill level. The USMCA connects riders with coaches, whether the rider is just starting out on their motorcycling journey, to a competitive amateur racer looking to reach their next milestone, or the professional athlete trying to clinch a title. Download the Motorcycle Coaching app and get connected to a USMCA certified coach today.
In the premier form of off-road motorcycle racing in the world, it's the beginning of a new era. 17 Supercross, 11 Motocross, and those 3 playoff rounds.
Super Motocross World Championship Final. Tickets on sale now. Visit supermotocross.com.
30-second card is up. We've talked all about it. We've watched practice and qualifying. We've theorized. We've bench raced. Now it is time to go. Ropes are up. Gates down. Side by side we go. Jet Lord, Justin Cooper in front of the crowd. Chase Sexton. Did anyone else get up in the mix? They have been 1-2 in the last 7 motos of this championship. Here we go.
every race, every day, in every way. Print, social, digital, video, photo. Every race, every day. Every result, every story, every rider, everything. Moto every day with Racer X.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's like the family's here and I'm relaxed, or I can't tell you. I'm giddy.
That's a dangerous thing, a giddy Adam McGill, and you're still sitting back in I think 4 or 5. So I know you don't pay attention. You're like, no, I don't want to be distracted by that. But overall, you're having a stellar season as far as the standings are concerned. The podium has eluded you so far this year, but I got to think it's coming.
Yeah, we've been working really hard, and you know, I've been trying to keep people up with what I'm doing throughout the weeks, and been doing decks, you know, putting deck boards down and getting the garden put up and doing all that. You know, I don't get to quite put in the time like I want to, but sometimes I wonder if it's better to not, especially at my age. It takes longer to recover. It takes longer to, you know, to recoup, especially from a hard weekend like we're going to have this weekend, man. And maybe that's why I'm giddy, because I know we're just about to get put through the ringer, and it's going to be, and I'll never forget, it's who can suffer the longest. And I think it was Bill that said that. It doesn't matter how fast you are or something like this. It's who can suffer and suffer the longest is going to come out on top. And watching the youth this morning and being at the micro start and seeing how they tore it up, and now the morning's tearing it up. Damn, I wish I rode a 4x4.
All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Hey, go suffer the longest. Does that work?
That's the weirdest thing you've ever said to me. But
you said it yourself. You said whoever's willing to suffer the longest, right?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we're ready. I mean, we've been drinking Rhino Power like crazy, and you know, eating chicken. Haley's been meal prepping for me like nuts, and I'm trying to get as much food down as I can. But it's going to be tough because, man, it's going to get hot, and that stuff's going to curl in your belly, and man, I just don't want to be tossing all that stuff up on top of Crown Royal, you know.
Fan favorite there, the Gator, Adam McGill, never short on words. You know, he tried to call me out. He was like, that's the weirdest thing you ever said. I said, I literally just quoted you, bud. You know, it is what it is. Speaking of turning stomachs, Cody Collier joining us in the booth right now, and he said, I'm going to come in a second. I'm working on a stomach thing myself, but that's all right. Everything hurts a little less. Everything's a little less sore after a win. Am I right?
After a win, yeah, no, it felt great, and then got back to the trailer, and then what I did to myself started to set in. You know, I got nothing left. You know, got all the water, all the food out of me, and just stomach acid got to me sitting in here a minute ago, and popped out, threw up, and got out my system, and here in the booth with you guys. So
well, welcome, Cody.
What microphone are you using? Okay, just wanted to take note of that just for next time.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't want to get sick. So Cody Collier, you grabbed the win in the 4x4 Pro. I know obviously we've seen the track here on Racer TV. We've seen how it's developing. You raced it this morning, as did Johnny G. But give us your perspective on this track here today.
It's real choppy. It's got sections that it's kind of where it's really tight. It just kind of got one line and it kind of flows, and you're just kind of stuck in that rut. But then when it kind of opens up in sections like these, you can kind of step out of that real deep stuff and kind of keep your momentum and keep your pace. And if you, like in this corner here coming into this left-hander, if you just stayed to the right side of that track and dropped in the ruts late, you're missing everything. So in sections like this, you got some movement. You know, all it takes is the tire width to keep your speed and stay out of the chop.
So it's a good track. That's what you're saying.
It's a good track. It's rough.
It's a good one to race.
It beat us up on the 4x4s today. It was tough to keep momentum through all the sand and all the big bumps the sand seems to produce. But it's got a couple good lines out there, a couple real good insides. If you pay attention, you have your eyes looking ahead. There's a couple really good insides, but. I heard Johnny talking about a little bit. Like he said, it's pretty much one line.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just about to ask. We called the 4x4 Pro race, and you and Brandon Frazier traded the lead a couple of times. So, I mean, you clearly were able to find passes. The question was, were those 100% on you? Were they caused by a mistake by the person out front? Lappers. Okay, perfect.
He did get. I tipped in an inside in the corner, and he was able. We swapped a little bit with all the mayhem going on, pitting, and the lappers out there. There's a little bit of swapping going on. But the only time I got past, I tipped on inside, and Frazier was. Like second lap, he just held an outside on me really good and got around me. Other than that, I got in the lead a couple of times, and a lapper would pull me out of the lead. So there's a couple good lines. But from walking the track, I knew all the good lines, so I was ready for everything, and that's what got me the win on that last lap. One of those back pocket lines that didn't take all race. Got him on the last lap.
Love it. And you can speak to this too, what confidence does for a rider. Hunter Hart gets his first win, and Hunter said before the race today, he's like, I know that Bryson had a mechanical. I know he wasn't it wasn't mano-y-mano to the checkered flag. And I'm like, yeah, but a win's a win. Everybody knows, hey, you've got to put it together. The machine's got to stay together. There's so many variables. You're the man that won. You've got to carry that confidence into today. Regardless, you can't control what everybody else is doing. Cody Collier can control what Cody Collier's doing. Hunter Hart can control what Hunter Hart's doing. Who cares about everybody else? So I think we're seeing that in a very hungry Hunter Hart this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's something I've talked about too. But don't listen to the noise.
That's
Focus, and when you have that confidence, be like, I won last week. And if you don't start thinking about, well, Bryson wasn't there.
Yeah.
Bryson wasn't 100%. If you just focus on, I won last week, and I'm Hunter Hart. I'm here to win.
Yeah.
That's all you're focused on: hitting your lines, executing. That's all there is to it. But Bryson just, he was putting 30 seconds lap on the boys last race once he got going. So his ability to execute is just something Hunter's got to pick up.
That's it.
I think it would be interesting to be a fly on the wall in both the camps, of Hunter Hart's and Bryson Neal, because if you're Hunter's family, if you're their team, hey, a win's a win. You got it done, just like what you were saying. But you also know if you're in the Neal camp, hey man, you came back to 11.
That's it.
But and so it's so cool to not only see the riders' mentality, but their entire team. They know, okay, yeah, sure, Bryson had a mechanical, this, that, and everything. Hunter's team knows, hey, we need to keep his confidence high. We need to make sure he realizes that he earned that win, and he seems to be coming out swinging here at round 5 because of it.
That's it. I hate the term salvaging points. I always feel like as an athlete, you want to go out and always do your best. Nobody's out there to salvage anything. But the reality is that was the case for Bryson Neal last race, and he needed every single one of those points. If you look at the point standings, only 3 up on Hunter Hart after Hunter's win, only 4 up on Coltrane. So those wins, he needed every single one of them, obviously, because, hey, if a mechanical happens, you want to have a little cushion, a little room for error. Like last year, it went down to the wire. It came down to Ironman between him and Walker Fowler. And, after the penalty assessed, we won't get into all that. But Bryson took a 4th that day, and that was minimum what he had to get to capture the championship if Walker won. So I think Bryson knows that. He doesn't want to have that same situation. I believe we got leaders on screen with the Yamaha Live drone.
Yeah, it looks like the number 1 Bryson Neal out front. Big black jersey, white number 1. The big white number 1 in the middle. Yeah, he's rolling. Looks like he's got around Hart. Cruising.
Yeah, the last time we saw them, we talked about the pressure that he was putting on Hunter Hart. Only maybe about a second or so between him and Hunter, but now all we see is Bryson. And this is the last thing that you want to see if you're anybody else in the field. Now getting a view of Hunter. Okay, so Hunter's not too far back. He wasn't in that first camera shot there, but Hunter is not out of this thing yet. We've seen, talking about how choppy it is, we saw several riders flipping even there in the AM race. I don't know what was going on, but we saw more riders coming off of the ATVs than I have, at least so far in 2023, as we saw Hunter grabbing some hydration there. So Hart's not out of it yet, but I do feel like this has got to be tough for him. It does seem like we've seen him in front of Bryson Neal before, but sure as every time, as soon as that number 1 gets in front, he almost immediately starts to put some distance between him and the rest of the field.
And there's a Shaw Jr. on screen and 3rd coming through Pro Row, so he's not too far off this group. But yeah, it's you have to imagine Bryson made a clean pass out there somewhere. Maybe it was a bobble by Hart. Either way, Bryson got in the lead, and I imagine being able to start just walking away from him, pulling just little by little, and it sucks when a guy's just walking away from you like that. It's what do I need to do? What do I need to do to get to where they're at? And then you got to regroup for the next round and get that much better. But that's all these guys can do is just learn from what Bryson's doing and start practicing at home.
That's it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've seen Neal doing a lot just in these open live drone shots, it seems like he's going either way to the left-hand side or way to the right, where Hunter, I've seen, kind of the old running up the middle, if you will, and he's catching a lot of these braking bumps. There, the last time we saw Hunter and Bryson battling, it looked like he was able to gain some time on Hunter by skipping a lot of those bumps, even to what Cody's point mentioned, where we were able to kind of jump in the rut at the last second.
Yeah, so you'll see Bryson doing, he is a tire width wide, and he'll hold his front tires right where they're at, and then he'll kick his rear end, just his rear end. And he'll be able to kind of already have his quad at an angle coming into the corner and just drop in the rut if he wants to.
Power to the ground. Drops
in and just no lift, is already at the right angle to accelerate out of the corner. He's pointed where he wants to be coming in. Just these guys are all great at it, but Bryson, that's definitely one of his special tricks.
Stellar racecraft for Bryson Neal. We just got word, sounds like it'll be a 5-lap race, so What are we running? 24-minute laps? It'd be a little lengthy, yeah?
Yeah.
Cody Collier, you guys ran?
Four.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But we're on those big 4x4s. I think we're running almost the identical track. I don't know if there's any PM cutoff today.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think it's all bikes only cutoffs. And then I think they have the same exact tracks for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing lap times and seeing where I was in like an overall situation. It'd just be fun. But yeah, no, these guys are cooking.
Got to hand it to John Glotta. Went up, made the grown man move. Rubbing wheels, rubbing tires with Bryson Neal with a number 1. But that is the confidence. That's the kind of ride we need to see. And I think John Glotta would tell you that himself. That's what I need to be doing. I need to get up there and bang bars. I can't be afraid of these guys. He's not afraid of them by any means.
No.
But now he's really starting to show it. He's got a podium under his belt this year. We're starting to see John Glotta take that next step in that blossoming young career.
Yeah, to your point there, Mikey, obviously you were down at the start, but we were yelling in here when that XC1 start came off because there for a second, him and Bryson were up on 2 wheels, and wouldn't that have been a fireworks show?
I thought it was coming. I thought it was coming.
But a grown man move is a perfect way to put it. Full commitment, and when in that last second, the point of no return, where you're either going to shut it down and lock her up, or you're going to go for it. He seemed very confident, and I do think that that's stemming from, hey, I'm up on the podium. You had that bad luck. He had the stomach issues earlier in the year. He's put that behind him and shown while the points may not reflect it, I need to be in this podium discussion every week.
Yeah, Junior shown it week in, week out with the speed, coming through the pack most of the time and making up time to be in the podium battle. He's not normally the greatest starter, so him getting a great start today. I expected him with that great start to stay with Hart and Neal. I'm surprised he dropped back a little bit, maybe a little mistakes, maybe a little bike setup issue, didn't get something right, but we'll see how he does later in the day. Those 6'8" John Glotta, he's going to start picking up speed as these whoops get rougher.
That's it. His 7'2" wingspan, John Glotta Jr. Got to hand it to him, doing a great job. Adam McGill, great ride by him. It was interesting. We didn't catch it in that interview, but he's talking about what it means to have his wife here, the puppies here, and just you feel more relaxed. I think everybody, I don't care if you're a pro rider, amateur rider, your family, your friends are here. You feel more relaxed, you're more comfortable. There's like that safety net around you, and you can go out and do something special. Adam McGill sitting in the 4 spot right now, feeling good. He said, I want to get a podium. I feel like I got some podiums left in me. Maybe today you make something happen. The Coltrane rounding out the top 5. Cole's got to get on it. Not a great start for Cole after 2 by his standards. Back 20 seconds from McGill when he checked in. Shadron 6, Wilkin the rookie 7th. Wyatt Wilkins another guy. Him and Jay Shad both. They said, I expect to be making top 5s. They feel they need to be a top 5 guy right now. So they got some work to do. McClure in the 8th spot. Ronnie Rush 9th, and Merritt rounding out top 10.
Yeah, with Wilkin, he's been having all these great performances down here in the South. He's a northern boy. When we get back up north to Ohio and the rocks and all that fun stuff that we have up there, I think Wilkin is going to get a top 5 before the year's done. Yeah,
without a doubt. I think he's been putting those building blocks in place, as he likes to say, taking notes when he's up there, taking what he can get, but also being a little wiser in the sense of, hey, when the pace gets too high, back it down. If I need to take a 6th on the day, a 7th on the day, something like that, I think he's okay with that, and I think that's going to put him in the spot where he's fighting not only for top 5s, but the right conditions. Something happens with somebody else, he could be in the spot for a podium before it's all said and done. To your point, though, Mikey, you look at Cole Richardson in that 5th place spot. I noticed he wasn't up there off the start, but I was kind of expecting him to cut through. But we also heard from Johnny how difficult that is out here. So if you're Coltrane, try to make something happen in the open sections. But really, not ideal for him. We saw how hard he was fighting with Hunter there, trying to take advantage of the Bryson incident, if you will. But I definitely think he's going to want to be higher here right now.
For Neal, Hart, Richardson, the expectation is at least podium every weekend. That's where you need to be if you want to be in the championship fight, especially with Neal being the guy out there who's going to be battling for the win every single race unless something bad happens. Neal's going to be battling for the win every race, no matter what. So you have to be on the podium and hope for hopefully you progress and a couple more things for you, and you can get up that ladder a couple more steps, or he has some bad luck again. But Richardson, he's got 20 seconds to make up just to get to that 4th place to make some passes in the field. So Richardson's really got to step it up. I'm not sure where he was at on the first lap, but I imagine he was coming through the pack and is just trying to find his groove. Realized he wasn't going to be in the podium battle today, and just trying to run a 2-hour pace.
We watch leaders on screen here. Yamaha live drone. Show some love real quick here. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, just watch Hunter, how he went in that previous section, went so far inside, outside, and he's going all the way to the ruts. The holes. The holes that are coming in and out of all these sections are getting so deep in the main lines. These sections are getting 3-4 lines wide, and like, oh, Junior's close. Junior's
Junior closing in.
It's just getting so gnarly. Like this corner down at the bottom, Junior just went through. It started where you cut up right real hard to get a nice swing for that left-hander at the top of the hill. But as the race progressed, the rut got too deep, and we started blowing one more line left, one more line left. Now it's like 3 lines wide coming out of that corner.
So, Cody, you mentioned the height of John Glotta Jr., and we've heard how that affects motorcycle riders. But me personally, is there an advantage, a disadvantage to being taller or shorter on an ATV?
That's Chad Wienen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, that's who I was always thinking of. And then you look at, like, on the moto side, Joel Hetrick, who's obviously on the smaller side.
Yeah, that's
true. So clearly both are capable of going fast. But, you know, for somebody like John, is there an advantage? How is he trying to use his height to his advantage?
He's got more leverage on the bike, you know. When you're that tall, your leverage point is a lot higher, so you're able to throw that bike around a lot more. You know, your long legs, it's a second set of suspension. You can kind of use that to come through the shop a lot smoother. And just, if anyone watches Supercross, you hear Ricky Carmichael talk about it every single weekend. So it's almost the same things, except you don't got to worry about sticking your leg out. You just got to worry about turning the bars into you. So as long as you got the right setup where you're comfortable turning your bars with being a tall rider, there's no disadvantage to it.
So finally got that battle there between Cole Richardson and Jay Shadron. We'll see if we can't follow that.
Shadron looked like he was putting the pressure on there as well.
Yeah, he's got corner sights, not want to let him out. He's going to try to go for that top 5. Knows he's right there. It'll be his first top 5 of the year.
Yeah, and to Jay Shad's credit, I mean, you know, Coltrane he's not going to sit around and wait. Cole's going to try and link up and pick up some time. So not a bad guy to link up with if you're Jay Shad. Like, hey, let's ride this freight train to the front, see if we can't shake some things up.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a couple cool sweeping corners in these fields. If you really can, if the rider in front of you commits to the main line and gets caught wrong and kicks, and you just committed to the outside and absolutely swung it, you're going to get the pass most of the time. It's just the main line just a lot better most of the time if you don't get that kick, which these guys are really good at not doing that. So, and you see how they both turned up way high in that corner just to avoid all of that chop. This track's getting rough. And then you get into these woods where you can't avoid the chop. So, long day for these guys.
Going to be a long one watching the FMF PowerPoint right now, mile marker number 2. While we wait on those guys to roll through, show a little love to the XC2. Steve Harrell leading the way, trying to go 5. I told him, I said, you got the Wendy's 4 for 4. Let's go get the Arby's 5 for 5. James Glotta, like I said on the starting line, he grabbed a whole shot. It's a good day to be a Glotta.
I said there was a Glotta things going on at the top of the field.
That's perfect. I love it. Grayson Eller having a ride, sitting in the 3 spot. Lane McCormick in 4th. Dylan Walraven rounding out the top 5. Kenny Schick 6th. 7th place, Jeremy Ladon. Tanner Walker 8th. 9th, Gabriel Nod, our friend from Canada. And Brandon Owens rounding. Ooh, Brandon Owens back in 10th.
Gabby and Owens have not come through for lap 2.
They have not.
And Steven with a minute lead on lap number 2.
Steven doing his thing out front. We're going to take a short break here from some of our sponsors, and when we come back, more from the FMF Camp Coker Bullet here in South Carolina.
Yamaha YZ450F. Narrower, more compact, and lighter. Built to do one thing: go faster. Flexible financing options offered directly through Yamaha are available. See your local Yamaha dealer today.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Kinetic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Kinetic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Kinetic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Kinetic. Kinetic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida, where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees, and you're doing 230s, and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall, I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
GNCC Racing is brought to you by Specialized. Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. I didn't mean to interrupt myself with myself. I can't say I've ever done that before, but there you go. Hey, live TV, baby. I should have just rolled with it and sunk right in there. Well, welcome you folks back here to RacerTV.com. This is the FMF Camp Coker Bullet, and round number 5. Just kidding, not round number 4, round number 5, but that's okay. It's all good. It's all good, Adam. Hey, I messed up, you messed up. We're even now, buddy. Well, listen, we know we have a lot of competition amongst our riders and obviously our TV crew as well, as you guys just saw on air. But boy, you talk about competition between pit crews. We're talking Mark Notman. We're talking Big Sexy. We did a little special segment, and I don't want to spoil anything. I think we'll just give it a watch and give it a listen and whet your appetite for what's coming up in these pit stops. Listen, there's a lot of debate about, hey, is Bryson Neal the guy? Is Hunter Hart the guy? Is it Cole Richardson? Is it Jared McClure, Adam McGill? We talk enough about the pro guys. We want to talk to the guys behind arguably 2 of the best pit stop men in the game. Mark Notman, of course, Walker Fowler, now Hunter Hart right now, and Big Sexy for Jared McClure, Kate Osborne in the mornings, WXC. As you can see, they don't even give
two you-know-whats about me. They're staring each other down. I'm going to start with Big Sexy. What's going through your mind right now?
Just how much faster I am than this guy every single week.
Every single week. Mark Notman, your rebuttal.
He's a part-timer, You can't expect him to come out here and, put on a show for these guys. He's going to be slow.
Slow. You got to have a comeback on that.
Well, you see, we're the working man's race team. I got a real job. I get up, I go to work every morning, digging the dirt, digging ditches, laying pipe, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But, I don't have time to work on this all day, so I take pride in still being the best.
Mark?
I don't even know what to say to that.
All right, I'm gonna make a bet. I think we let the fans decide who has the better pit stop. Are you guys down for that? Yeah. We'll get it on Racer TV, and I think if Big Sexy wins, Mark Notman has to cut the sleeves off his shirt.
I'm down with that.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Now, what does Big Sexy got to do if Mark Notman has the better pit stop?
Shave the mustache.
Shave the mustache. Fair?
Oh. I mean, that's a little more aggressive, but you know what? I'm not afraid.
Not afraid. All right, we're either getting sleeves cut off or a mustache cut off, but something's coming off. This is too deep. I want out. I want nothing else to do with this. I have nothing else to do with this. There's a man right there, and I know the sunlight's hitting Big Sexy just right. He's not shaved the mustache off yet. You know what? We probably just sabotaged both of them. They're probably more nervous than they've ever been. And Notman's been in that situation where there's championships on the line. You got to have it dialed for Walker Fowler. He's probably more nervous about this right now than anything else. What a cool segment, both of them. And you know what's funny? We talked with Big Sexy after the interview, and he said, I don't know why I didn't think to tell Mark if he loses, he's got to shave his beard to up the ante. So maybe with the folks at home, push him in that direction. If he loses, he's got to shave the beard. I think sleeves aren't enough.
Big Sexy had his.
Oh, he's always suns out, guns out, baby.
Yeah, he had his what he wanted, and Mark got what he wanted. So
yeah,
fair is fair.
We'll see. Gonna be good. What's up, Johnny Gallagher?
So I heard you guys debating on whether or not.
Good.
I heard you guys debating on how we were going to decide who wins this thing. Stopwatch, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
It's down to the time. I heard you saying the fans decide.
Yeah.
No. We got stopwatches. We're all set up.
Yes.
We're going to get a camera down there. We're going to find out what's coming off. The sleeves or the stash, baby.
And to be clear, we talked about this late yesterday, Johnny. It's when the ATV comes to a complete stop and when the ATV takes off. That is the time, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So oh, look at this. They're getting ready to come down. We need this is mile 9, actually. We got a little bit of time.
We got a little bit.
I'm going to go down there, get ready with the stopwatches. We're going to see if we can call the action. I'll report back to you guys. We'll see if we can get the live shots of this happening and going down. And I'll tell you right now, if the stash is coming off, it's getting shaved during the race. I got clippers. I'm walking over there with them. And I also have some scissors to take more. Are we ripping the sleeves off or are we cutting them off?
I think a rip would be
only a we'll let Big Sexy rip the sleeves off.
He'll do it.
Otherwise, we're gonna shave Big Sexy stash. I'm going to get the tools. I'll see you guys here in a bit.
I'm excited. We can't be biased here on Racer TV, but I gotta say, to see Big Sexy have to shave the mustache, it would be heartbreaking. But boy, it'd make for great television.
Yeah, it's almost one of those ones where you don't want to see it, but you almost need to say, "I was there when it happened."
I was there. On that Chamber of Commerce day. Oh, my goodness. Bryson Neal's gotten out front. Back to the racetrack, I guess. No, Neal's gotten out front. Hunter Hart trying to keep pace. When he checked in, he was 11 seconds back. They're due into the finish line here in about 3 minutes. John Glotta, last we saw, still in the 3 spot and had a fairly comfortable gap. That's something we want to keep an eye on. It was 34 seconds back to Adam McGill. The Coltrane, not a great start for him. Cody, you talked about it. Johnny Gallagher talked about it. A lot of single track out there. Not a lot of options for passing. So those starts important. Maybe that's part of what's been detrimental for Cole Richardson here this afternoon. Shadron 6th, Wilkin 7th, McClure 8th, Ronnie Rush 9th, and Merritt 10th. So as you look at it, Hunter Hart should be coming in for his pit first. We should be able to capture that, have the time on it, and then compare to
Jared McClure, and we are getting updates from our producer, Adam Gordon. He said, what was a minute 40?
A minute 40.
And Junior's right on him.
Glada is all over the back of Hunter.
And there's McGill. There was a bottleneck out there. That's all it was. Neal missed a bottleneck, may have caused a bottleneck with the lapper, but there was a bottleneck, and now the fight for the podium's on.
Mercy sakes alive. Love it. Hunter Hart's leading that pack, and boy, that's got to be frustrating too if you're Hunter Hart. You know, you're already losing time on Bryson Neal, and like you said, bottleneck, we don't know exactly what happened back there, but you're exerting more energy. It changes the pace of your breathing. All of that, your heart rate goes up. It just changes everything, and you've got to kind of regroup. What goes through your head in that situation, Cody?
It went through my head a couple times today, Mikey.
Yeah, right.
There was a couple times a couple times a lap we would come to a dead stop, but it's just don't get distracted. Just look ahead. Just be like, okay, how do I get through this as fast as I can? And that's all you can do. And sometimes you sit, and you have to be okay with that. But if there's a way around it, just weigh your options wisely. Okay, if I take this, what's the odds of me getting stuck here for the rest of the day? Is this going to end my day trying to get around this bottleneck, or do I just take a breath, stretch my arms out, regroup, and race continues once it's cleared up? It's big buck last week, and I sat for 30-40 seconds on a downhill. There's just there's the quads all the way up the hill, and there's just a Honda 250 just couldn't make it up the hill, just stuck in the ruts. And they were working on getting them out of the way, and it was just sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, one of the things you talk back to round 4 Tiger Run there. John Glada Jr., we saw a lot of those creative lines. Hunter Hart even said when he made the pass on Cole Richardson, he was taking a line that he saw John Glada use earlier in the race. As far as this race, limited options for passing there, but the last person you would want is somebody that's super creative with the opportunities that they have.
I think Junior's a really smart rider. I think he's got some pace. He's got I think he does very well at looking as far down the track as he can, and he's seeing those lines develop, and he's seeing it before he gets there. Here's McClure on screen now. It looks like he's got around the Wyatt Wilkin, or I might have missed him, but up to the 7th spot, I believe. Yeah, that's the corner Frazier passed me in this morning. That's the one I got past in whenever they do follow the next pro through. That left-hander coming over top that hill, there's an inside and outside, and I kind of, there's not a rut there this morning, there was a wall on the inside, and it kind of tipped me up, and Frazier was able to swing that outside, clean pass.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you talk about how little. I mean, ultimately, you think about the entire race that you did. That one little mistake, and that's all it took. You know, it's a split-second thing that seems to make sometimes the biggest difference. You talk about last weekend with Neal, same thing.
Yeah.
It took just a couple of seconds, and the whole season got shooken up. So, yeah, it's really crazy to see. But then at the same time, maybe we'll get this in a camera shot as well when you passed him back. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just crazy. And you talk about the ability to pass back after you've already been passed. Hunter Hart, that was something I was hoping to see more of today. He was in front of Neal. Neal got around. I was like, all right, Hunter, now's time. If you can get him right back, you know, you're able to say, hey, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
But Neal,
stay right here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the guy
gets clean air, and it's just gone.
It clicks another gear, exactly.
It's the Glada in second. I didn't see Hunter in front of him, but might have swung into Glada. Hunter's ahead. Yep, just wasn't in the shot yet. But yeah, this battle for seconds on. Have this drone lag a little bit. See where McGill was at on this battle, and I know Richardson was only about 10 seconds off. So it's one more lapper, and this race can get real interesting.
Here we go. 3 laps in. Neal is in 150. That's the time gap. Hunter Hart in the 2 spot. We got 17.5 seconds back to Glada. I think that's going to, obviously, it's going to
2 seconds.
Tighten up here. All right, we're into the pits.
Stopwatch.
Hunter Hart, look at him. I got the stopwatches out. I see Jackson Burrell back there. Okay, Adam Gordon, our producer, said, I've got it in a replay. Don't worry. Jared McClure going to be checking in. Big Sexy locked and loaded down there. Who's at an advantage here from the pit stop perspective?
I seen Mark Notman pull a double clutch. I think that might be the difference. He kind of did a little double plunge at the end.
Adam McGill in and out of the pits. And now to take one out of the Rodney Tomlin playbook, we wait with bated breath for Jared McClure to jump into the pit stop. Meanwhile, this battle is going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, they're both young and hungry.
Oh yes,
they both want it just as bad. So,
and you know those guys, they've been racing each other for so many years. I mean, they know each other probably as well as like Boric and Adam McGill and Walker Fowler know each other. I mean, they've been racing together for years, and Hunter Hart's always, at least since I've been around 2017 XC2 days, was always kind of getting the best of Glada.
Hunter's just always had it. He was, him and his dang Cobra growing up. Him and his dang Cobra stole a few national championships for me in the youth. But
I didn't mean to pour salt in the wound. I wasn't going to bring it up, but
it hurts to this day.
You walked right into it yourself.
It hurts to this day. Oh, if we only had hybrids.
Yeah.
He's got a great program around him. Amy and Jeff really do everything they can to make sure he's got the greatest program in the country around him. They just always taking care of him, and they made the most of it. This is all Hunter making the most of it, and because he wants to. So a lot of people are given these kind of opportunities and don't make the most of it.
That's right.
Hunter definitely has. And then Junior also same kind of way. You know, he's got his John Senior and Megan, his parents. They take care of him. They do pretty well for themselves, and they make sure all four of their kids have everything they want and need. And he's making the most of it out here. And then his brother Jimmy, following in his footsteps. Just these guys are putting in the work and they want it. Hunter was just a little further ahead at the beginning, and Junior's starting to figure it out.
Coltrane on the move as well. If you guys are watching or following live scoring, he's up into the number 4 spot now and sits 11.9 seconds back from Glada. So 3 laps in, 2 to go. We know it'll be 5-lap race. Going to be interesting to watch Cole Richardson if he can link up with John Glada and Hunter Hart. He's going to put in a fight. Valuable points. Needs everyone he can get. The Gator, Adam McGill, rounding out the top 5. And when McGill checked in, he was right on the rear grab bar of Cole Richardson.
Now, question for you guys, in Supercross, the 450 riders, they talk about, we're leaving the west and we're coming to the east side. Well, here in GNCC, we're leaving the south. We're getting ready to head up north. Are these guys taking this round as like hey, I want to try to end the southern rounds on a high note and then regroup? I heard you talking earlier about Wyatt Wilkin. He's a northern guy, and he's doing well here in the southern races. Do they kind of almost split that up similar to what you see like an east and west coast thing done in Supercross?
So the way I think of it is some guys ride better down south. That's a place that you are advantageous for you to ride. Like Hunter being a South boy running into the sand. This is a race he wants to make an impact on because this is a place he feels he has an advantage. And then like the Wilkin example, these are tracks that he more struggles at because he doesn't ride this type of conditions. So once we go up north, so if you're a southern guy going north, you're wanting to make a good exclamation mark on the south today. If you're a north guy going back to the north next round, you're excited. You just want to get this out of the way and get back to some real dirt. So,
yeah, I think that's exactly right. And you hear a lot of guys that live up north, and we have a lot of northeastern riders.
We got
Ohio.
video documentation.
Oh, Johnny Gallagher, I hear him. Is he chiming in?
Was that a ghost? Was that Johnny?
Okay.
We got Jackson Burrell. Just we'll let Johnny do it. We'll let Johnny do it. Sorry about that. But
to be continued on the pit stop thing.
For me, for myself on the north-south thing, I'm definitely a northern guy. So I just try to survive the first 5 rounds, gather the best points I can. Leaving today, I got a 25-point lead leaving today, and this point in the year last year, I was down 30 points.
That's a good point.
Still came back to the championship. So I'm leaving the South, coming back to home, going back to what I know I ride best, and I'm just going to have more confidence going into going back north.
Yeah, to your point, you hear a lot of guys talk about, those first 3, 4, 5 rounds, I want to have a good result. And then when we get back up home, we get into some Ohio dirt, some Indiana dirt. That feels more like home. I'm more comfortable up there. That's when I know I need to be clicking off podiums, wins. But yeah, it's like survival the first few rounds. And I think from round 5, 6, 7, 8, those are like the meat of the season. And then at the end of the year, like Supercross, we have our silly season. Things get really crazy. But yeah, you hit it spot on, Zach. I mean, I think it's the mentality. Instead of east-west, it's north-south.
North-south here in GNCC, yeah. It seems like it. And Hunter's trying to do the most of it right now. He is putting the fight on. Glada gains a little bit, but Hunter stretches it right back out. So he clearly still running well, feeling well. But Bryson Neal, we said it at the beginning of the show, I felt like he was here to make a point, and he's always almost painfully humble. Like, he's so good, and you're like, man, just give me, don't be cocky, but just give me a little edge or something, and he just won't. He's just so respectful to not only, you know, his team and everybody else, his competitors. He gives everybody credit. He knows everybody's working hard. But I think behind closed doors, Bryson Neal was saying, I'm coming here today to show them why I've got the number one.
Oh, yeah. You got to put on the nice face of the public. You know, you have your mindset and stuff that you're keeping to yourself. But, yeah, it's tough to be the nice guy and then come out here and ride a four-wheeler like that. So, yeah, and that's what makes a great champion too, right?
Absolutely.
People wanting to race against him, people wanting to be him, and to have that kind of mindset is just shows what a great champion he is for the series.
Amen. Hunter Hart trying to hold off John Glada, the young John Glada trying to go after him. All right, we welcome back in the booth Johnny Gallagher, and we already got word, but I said, let's hear from Johnny. Johnny, what are the results of the pit stop challenge?
There's a lot of bickering going on down there.
I don't doubt it.
But the rules were set beforehand. It was tires stopped to tires rolling. That was the deciding factor.
Yes.
Mark Notman, Hunter Hart, 6.1 seconds.
Okay.
Jared McClure, Colin Davey, also known as AKA The Big Sexy, 7.7.
Oh my goodness.
Big Sexy is losing a mustache today. He's very upset about it. You guys can't see in screen, but in studio, but I'm showing these guys. We've got the clippers in hand. Mark is actually going to do the shaving for him. See Hunter Hart here on screen, but we're setting it up. We're going to have our producer Adam Gordon tell us when there's a good window of an opportunity to get this done, and this is going to happen right here live on Racer TV. Big Sexy losing a mustache. And I will say this, he's going to be pretty bitter with his rider, Jared McClure, because Big Sexy was faster with the can. Jared McClure fumbled trying to get the dump can or the dry brake receiver cap back on and waited to take off until he did. That was the deciding factor.
Oh, Cobra.
Yeah, and Hunter probably had his tires spinning whenever Mark did the double clutch. That probably saved him.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, all in good fun, at least for everybody but Big Sexy. Yeah, Colin will have some explaining when he goes back home, and they say, dude, what happened to your mustache? It fell off.
He has a very forlorn look right now, knowing that he's about to lose the mustache. But he's a man of his word, and he says a bet is a bet. And I mean, when we see him back in 3 weeks, the mustache will be just a little bit thinner, but it'll be back on its way.
He's the kind of guy that he can just like grunt and poof, it's back. Like, boom, the mustache is there.
That is a real man.
That's a real man. I have white trash genetics. I can't grow one, so.
Hunter Hart on screen looking like he's able to stretch it back out over John Glada. They were so close. We saw him in the pits there. Speaking of the pit stops, we're making some light of it, but it was a really lightning fast pit stop for Hunter Hart. He was able to get in and out. John Glada was all over him, and now we see he's been able to stretch out that gap just a little bit here watching from our Yamaha Live drone. But man, look at, speaking of gaps, a minute and 50 out front. Bryson Neal, that just was a lot all at once, man.
It is a lot at once, and I hate saying the word, but like kind of demoralizing if you're anybody else, because just when you're like, okay, he's human, he had a mechanical, he's human, I got a shot. It comes out and does something like this. And hey, there's still plenty of racing. We got about a lap and a half left, so things can happen. But nonetheless, Bryson Neal's showing why he's got the #1 plate.
Well, and I was curious to see how intense he was going to be here at round 5, and even early in the race, we've seen him. He's always been rather patient, but you could tell even early in the race he wanted to get around Hunter Hart almost immediately. He was putting the pressure on. He was eating roost, eating sand. He didn't care. He wanted to get around, and I think the reason why was he wanted to show just how far he's going to be sitting back. If it ends like this, sitting back, he wants to have a nice cold water in his hand, chilling out by the time Hunter comes across the line. He wants these people to know I mean business, and I'm still able to get it done.
Yeah, and I really do think there was a bottleneck. I don't think that minute 50 gap was legit. I think that if he pulled 30 seconds that lap, I'd be surprised.
Right.
But we shall see. I want to see what this gap is when they check in for lap 3. Or I guess this is the last lap.
No, 5 laps. So they're on lap 4.
I'm on my morning.
It's all good.
I'm on my morning.
It's all good.
So whenever they complete this 4th lap here, I would like to see what the gap is. I think it'll be more realistic.
Yeah. And obviously Hart's charging. The lap times in general will be down just because of the pit stops.
6 seconds.
Not a lot, but yeah, a little bit. Not a lot of it, a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm with you. I don't think we're going to see that 150 gap.
I don't think it's going to be 4 minutes next time.
No.
Yeah, but I definitely don't think it's going down either. You know, I mean, I think it's going to continue to grow, and from here, what I'm interested to see is how much Bryson puts into it through the rest of the race. Once you get to, you know, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, I feel like he's in a spot where he's able to comfortably maintain. If he needs to pick it up, he can. But there's really no sense in running at 100% all the way to the finish line like that. You know, if you finish 2 minutes in first or 4 minutes in first, you're still just in first. So don't need to take any unnecessary risks either.
Yeah, manage race.
That's it.
Build like app and manage. But what Walker used to do, Walker used to pull him in it and then just keep him in it. That's all he would do.
And Cody, you know this. You've watched Bryson Neal over the years battling those battles early with Walker Fowler. You know, Bryson Neal was going 100 miles an hour from the waving of the green flag through the checkers, and a lot of times it cost him. You know, he'd have a mechanical, he'd break something on the machine, break himself at times, and he found a way to just kind of ride on that edge to where you kind of tiptoe and dabble in the sketchiness, but he's able to reel it back in now, and it is, I'm not saying he's going slower because the speed is still there, but he has found a way to kind of bottle that energy and harness it when he needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. You can turn it on and off. Not a lot of people can turn it on and off like that. It's a really hard thing to do. Like Hart is one of those guys right now. And until you find the limits of those machines, you don't really know how much do I need to back it off. What can this machine? So it's a little bit of a learning curve too once you get to this level to figure out what the machine can actually handle. What can I put this machine through and it finish? You know, these guys are getting, you know, a new bike every few rounds. But I have to make this quad last next 4 races. I can absolutely go crazy this first race and just absolutely destroy it, and then I'm on DNF the next 3 races. That's how you got to find that balance. And Bryson's, you know, matured, gotten that racecraft with him, and got himself a #1 plate.
Oh, he must have had to make the call, let somebody know that the stash.
Yeah, it was his boss.
Is no more.
He said, "Listen, I hope I can keep my job even without the mustache." Look at it. He got the big old jaw, big brass. Woo-saw, woo-saw. He's like, I can't believe this.
That's going to be a tough hit to be following the race.
Are you guys? Can you hear me up there?
We can hear you.
Oh, hold on. We got one coming in.
Okay.
So we got a pit coming in here, but also going on in GBC Tires pit stop area here, we have Colin Davey and Mark Notman settling up on a bet. We'll discuss the details of this afterwards, but ultimately what it came down to is Big Sexy, your rider kind of hosed you. You had a faster can, but the deal was, and you all agreed to it, wheels stopping to wheels rolling, 7.7 seconds, been documented on video. We've timed it with 3 devices, and we took the average. We did the same thing for their pit. 7.7 seconds, 6.1. How do you feel about losing the stash?
I'm a man of my word.
He's a man of his words, folks. So we're going to give Mark Notman the honors. Here's the clippers. It's coming off. You can see the pain and angst in his face. We talked about it, though. We know the stash will be back strong. Look at this. Here it comes. No more stash. He's had this since he was 9 years old, folks. This is serious. He's saying the clippers are bogging down. This just goes to show you guys, these guys take this just as serious as the racers. They're absolutely putting everything into it and making it happen. The first time since he was 9 years old, Colin Davey without a mustache, right here on Racer TV due to the Pit Stop Challenge. Back to you guys.
Oh, we have created a monster. Sorry, Big Sexy. It's so funny. I know we got to come up with something like every round, something unique like that. It's so funny. I forget that his name is Colin Davey. As a matter of fact, because I've called him Big Sexy for so many years now. My buddy, I introduced to him, and I said, his name is, well, his name's Big Sexy. Yeah. And I go, it's Colin, right? And he's like, yes, I've known you for 2 years. I felt so bad.
I've never heard him called anything else.
There you go. Yeah, Colin.
Anything.
Yeah, so, matter of fact, he added me on Facebook, and when he did, I'm like, I don't know who this is. And he messaged me, and he's like, hey, it's Big Sexy. I'm like, oh, okay. We're on the same page. Now it's mustacheless. Oh, that had to hurt. Work is going to be awkward for him on Monday.
Felt like there was a little revenge there in some of those.
There was,
some of that shaving technique. I don't know.
Yeah, that was rough, Mark Notman. Going against the grain on the mustache, probably yanked a hair out, pulled it. Mercy sakes alive. What a great race day. You don't get this in any other race series, shaving off mustaches on air. That's good stuff.
Let's see what they got in Atlanta tonight.
That's it. The night is young. Well, we are waiting on leaders here at Method Race Wheels Method Alley. In the meantime, B. Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, trying to capture the Camp Coker Bullet. We'll have more after this.
I'm 7-time GNCC champion Walker Fowler, and I run GBC.
Like a bullet into the first turn, the number one with the pink helmet and pink bars. It is Walker Fowler, the 7th.
Fist bump. You should be proud of yourself, Devin Feehan. What a ride today.
I'm Devin Feehan, and I run GBC.
I'm Josh Merritt, and I run GBC.
I'm Chris Borch,
And I run GBC.
The United States Motorcycle Coaching Association has been setting a standard for motorcycle coaching since 2016. Coaching is important for all riders, no matter the age or skill level. The USMCA connects riders with coaches, whether the rider's just starting out on their motorcycling journey, to a competitive amateur racer looking to reach their next milestone, or the professional athlete trying to clinch a title. Download the Motorcycle Coaching app and get connected to a USMCA certified coach today.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service, we know racing. Our inventory of Yamaha motorcycles, sport bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides is extensive and constantly changing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs, it's why we ride.
How would you like to go to a school where we take into consideration how students learn best? Well, we do that. Because we find if we can build the curriculum around the things you are interested in, you're going to do a better job. The mission at On Track School is that educational success is possible while chasing your dreams. Not only will our staff help students to achieve success, they will cheer you on to the finish line. We encourage you to check out On Track School at ontrackschool.com, where we can help you chase your dreams and still get a quality education.
OnTrackSchool.com. Check it out.
In the premier form of off-road motorcycle racing in the world, it's the beginning of a new era. 17 Supercross, 11 motocross, and those 3 playoff rounds.
Super Motocross World Championship Final. Tickets on sale now. Visit supermotocross.com.
30-second card is up. We've talked all about it. We've watched practice and qualifying. We've theorized. We've bench raced. Now it is time to go. Ropes are up. James down. Side by side we go. Chet Lord, Justin Cooper in front of the crowd. From Chase Sexton. Can anyone else get up in the mix? They have been 1-2 in the last 7 motos of this championship. Here we go.
every race, every day, in every way. Print, social, digital, video, photo. Every race, every day. Every result, every story, every rider, everything. Moto every day with Racer X.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here. Zach Herron, Cody Collier, Mikey Waynes here on the race call. 3 laps into what'll be a 5-lap race. Leader due in here in about 1:30. So we are watching that finish line area. See Kirk Sessions down there. Ken Hill talking shop. Kirk Sessions on the right side bottom of your screen. The man, he's a hustler.
And you talk about Ken Hill there. Big shout out to Ken there, taking all the pictures. But Ken actually putting up a little bit of money for the kids this morning as well. Doing $50, I believe it was, for both the ATV and the bike micro overall winners. And I gave the bike overall winner his money, and they had already left before it was announced that they also had some cash on the line.
So they were like,
oh, man. That kid was so excited. He was really not as excited about the trophy, but he saw that money.
$50.
Yeah, he was stoked.
And Dad goes, thank you. That'll go right in the gas tank.
It's exactly what
That's at least half a tank of fuel. My goodness. No, that's cool. That was cool. Ken came up. He handed me $50, and I said, I don't know why you just gave me $50. And he said, it's not for you. It's for the kids. I said, okay. That's cool. That was cool. Waiting on leaders to check in. Bryson Neal, when he checked in last time, had a 1 minute and 50-second lead. Can Hunter Hart chip away at that? That lead might not change. I don't know. John Glotta in the 3 spot. When he checked in last time, he was 2.5 seconds back from Hart.
Looks like that's opened up a little bit. Not too much, but probably I'd say in the 5-second gap at least for Glotta. So still within eyesight of Hunter, but starting to lose touch with the back of him. So Glotta definitely going to want to try to do that. I believe that was Richardson that was also starting to creep into frame there as well. So Cole Richardson going to start sneaking up and maybe even be able to put some pressure on. That's what we said. He needs to be on the box.
That's it.
And I mean, for Cole, Hunter, and Bryson, they are the guys where I think every single weekend, 3rd place is as bad as they would like for it to be. And so for Richardson, 4th place, not really an option for him. I know he's going to be giving it his all, trying to get to the back of the Yamaha before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, you know, Neal, obviously, we know he's going out there fighting for wins. Hunter Hart feels like he should be fighting for wins. Cole does. That makes for great racing. Everybody's competitive. But then at the same time, those guys that always expect to be on the box, your John Glotta, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, those guys, you throw them in the mix, and you've got great racing from 1st back to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Honestly, the top 10 has just been stellar. And that shows on adjusted time. Is that right? A little late. We had the pit stops. Bryson Neal a minute off that pace of lap number 3. Where is the number 1? Where is the Bidwell Bullet? I'm going to guess that's him. Getting around some lap traffic right there, and we'll check in. 4 laps completed. He'll get a white flag. Whoa! From Ricky Towery. And he goes back to work. Checks in with a 25:37 lap time. So we'll keep our eyes out for the number 3, a Hunter Hart on that Yamaha. They say he's out of Newfield, New York, but let's be honest, he's out of Florida.
He's a Florida guy now.
He's a Florida guy now.
Him. But yeah, to your point there, Mikey, we were waiting a little bit, weren't sure where Bryson was, and Johnny even said there's a chance once you get to 2 minutes, a minute and a half, you kind of just maintain. He's not really pushing the envelope.
Let's not go break anything.
You saw right when he crossed the finish line there, came relatively close to a stop there, so he could make sure to grab that water bottle rather than sprinting by and risking dropping it or anything like that. So Bryson, I think, knows he's in a perfect position as he got the white flag. Just needs to bring it around one more time.
There is Ricky Towery with that white flag. Still waiting on Hunter Hart. B. Neal, Bidwell Bullet got a good lead.
Guys, I was looking here at the points. If John Glada is able to hold on to it, he should pass Jay Shadron here. He went 4. He didn't score at the second round. Third round, he got 4th again, then a 3rd at the 4th round. So very consistent for John Glada, and that will help him out with his point spot a lot if he's able to hold on to that.
Yeah, that might be one, that race he missed due to sickness, that might be one that comes back to haunt him a little bit this year when he looks back on it. But hey, it happens. It happens to the best of them. So.
Well, and food poisoning, again, that's one of those ones where there's so many ranges. Yeah, when it's bad, it's really bad. And so we talk about how physically taxing this is already. If you're not 100%, I don't blame him for choosing to sit it out. But I agree. I think before it's all said and done, especially the consistency he's showing now, by the end of the year, you almost never realize how important those points were until you're at the end of the year and it's too late. So,
not to mention in that scenario it was round 2, correct? Yeah, it was Florida. Yep. I mean, that one we've got a short week. You go back racing that next weekend in Georgia. So,
speaking of consistency, Cole Richards has went 2-3, 2-2 this season, so he's not been off the box at all.
Hunter Hart checks in. 4 laps completed. 2 minutes and 12 seconds is the gap between first and second place. Ooh, missed the handoff right there.
And see, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about right there. You see the sense of urgency for Hunter, and while I don't blame him, I understand why he's in a hurry. He probably really needed that hydration.
Yeah,
he probably
would have
really loved that. And so Bryson's always seems to be able to back it down when he needs to, be calm, get what he needs to get done, and then move forward as fast as he can.
Guys, that's not the first water bottle I've watched Hunter Hart miss today. So every lap, Hunter's got a water bottle, to my knowledge. So Hunter really exerting some energy here, needing to get all the hydration he can.
On the move right now, let's see. Glada checked in 13 seconds back, so he's just out of this camera shot we're watching on Racer TV. Coltrane in the 4th spot. McGill still in 5th. And McGill really not letting the Coltrane out of his sights. At least getting glimpses of him. 10.5 seconds back, and Jay Shadron just checked in the 6th spot. And waiting on the rest of the pack to check in with 4 laps completed. If you're just tuning in here toward the end, white flag lap, 1 to go, and we are about 21 minutes away from seeing a checkered flag.
And Mikey, just like Johnny said, it kind of has seemed like they had that main line, then they moved out of it, almost pushed all the sand and soil back into the main line, and now we're starting to see them creep back to the very lines they were taking in the beginning.
Yeah, interesting to see how the track develops, and it's always changing. And I know you guys can attest to this because in the amateur races, by the time we're watching on Racer TV, if you're watching at home, a lot of times it looks like they're not taking what to our eyes look like the good line. But when you talk to these guys, they're saying those lines were made by C riders. Those lines were made by youth kids. I don't want to take that line. It's not necessarily the fastest line just because it's worn in. You see that all the time on Racer TV. These guys, racecraft, their rider intelligence just above and beyond anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. As we continue to watch Hunter now diving through the trees here with this Yamaha live drone. And Hunter kind of, I don't want to say he's in no man's land. I'm sure he's aware that Glada's back there, but I don't know whether John Glada Jr. is close enough to where, you know, the ATV sound is right there in the back of Hunter's head. He's able to know that he's right there. So Hunter, I'm curious whether or not he's pushing right now or whether he's at a point. I'm sure he's getting told, hey, this lead is pretty huge.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously keep pushing, but at the same time, right now, you don't want to overdo it trying to walk down Bryson Neal.
Yeah, and to your point, you know, Hunter Hart. Okay, if the win's not there, if I can't get a win on Bryson Neal, I got to make sure I finish in front of Cole Richardson. That man's 1 point behind me in the point standings, so I got to at least check that box off. If I can do that, I'm gonna feel good about today. At least I would think so.
You know, it's Bryson Neal. I do feel like is the guy right now. I don't think there's any debating that. But as far as the rivalry in this XC1 class, it's Hunter Hart and Cole Richardson.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I saw them last round. That was a huge opportunity for both of them. Cole Richardson, disappointed, doesn't even come close to show what he was saying with his team when he came across that line.
Yes.
He knew I needed to take advantage of that opportunity, and just as bad as I needed to beat Bryson Neal, I needed to be in front of Hunter Hart. And on the same foot, we saw Hunter just as excited for the fact that, hey, I was able to put it on top and be over top of everybody. Hunter right now in the better position here in round 5 as well. So the consistency going to start to make a point point, as we say, you got to make the most of your bad days. And so Richardson, we've seen him do that. He was outside of the top 5 at one point, but now still sitting off the box, not what you want for the Coltrane.
That's right. That big X-Factor rider, John Glotta. I think he's going to be the one, if he can just keep on finishing in between Hunter Hart and Richardson, whichever rider's out in front of him. He's almost the spoiler in that kind of situation, and I think he'll take that role happily.
Absolutely.
When he's up on the box and he's thanking his sponsors and everybody. You know, it's well earned by John Glotta. He is really coming on this year, and I got to hand it to Glotta. He's been doing the right things, because there was a moment there where it was kind of like, is he just going to kind of fade off into the sunset in this pro class? And over the last couple of seasons, he has really taken huge leaps forward in his racing career, and it's showing here today.
Yeah, and he's clearly shown up to show that. You saw it from the start. He wants to make a point. You don't run it into the first turn like
That's
that
right.
unless you're coming out swinging. So
against the defending champ, you're going up against the #1 plate.
Yeah, it's the physical contact. They're throwing it up on 2 wheels there.
Cool.
But
I'm with you. I thought both of those boys were going down on that start. I was like, this is going to make for a long day for both.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go down like that, because it was really cool seeing both of the Glotta brothers there coming from what was the right-hand side of the start, getting so much better of a drive. And we talk about that as well. Where you line up on the line, that plays just as much of a role as anything.
Big time. Varies every weekend, too, it seems like. Hunter Hart on the move. Bryson Neal, your leader, out in front. Neal trying to capture what would be his 4th win in 5 rounds of racing. About 20 minutes away now or 17 minutes, excuse me. Hitting refresh helps. 17 minutes away from seeing a checkered flag. Neal, Hart, Glotta, Richardson, and McGill, your top 5. Want to take a look at that XC2 class, show those Pro-Am guys a little love. Steve Harrell trying to make it 5 in a row, and by all means, he should be there when it's said and done. He's 2 minutes and 21 seconds up on James Glotta. Again, good day to be a Glotta. Grayson Eller having a great ride on that Phoenix Racing Yamaha, sitting in the #3 spot. Lane McCormick back in 4th. By the way, I just found, I had a memory pop up on social media of little baby Lane McCormick at a youth race from my first season. Lane, I'm going to send it to you. I'll post it on social media. You're a grown man now. It's wild to see the success you're having. Really cool. Dylan Walraven in the top 5. Logan Huff 6. Kenny Schick back in the 7th spot. Jeremy Ladon 8th, 9th. Albert Jadish. And Tanner Walker, TW, having a rough day back there in the #10 spot.
Yeah, it seems like Tanner can't get a break this year.
Man.
We're trying hard, just can't get a break. I think I got a picture with you in the background when you were still announcing Max C's.
Oh, there's an oldie.
13,
that was
14?
2012, 13, 14. Yeah, that was in the skinny Mikey days. That was the 3 times a day at the gym days. Now it's like 3 times a day I eat a 3-course meal, and it happens.
Which one's more fun?
The latter.
There we go.
Yeah, it's more fun. The clothing's a little tighter, but that's okay.
That's in style these days.
It's in style.
Yep.
Dad bods.
Exactly.
My wife's out there listening going, no, you need to eat healthier. You need to exercise. All right. When I get home, that's what I always say. When I get home from this race, I'm going to go back and train.
Just let me get through these southern rounds, babe. The southern rounds, and then once we go up north.
Oh, summer break. You really need that summer break. Oh, maybe after summer break.
Yeah. Man, what a battle. These guys have had some separation here today. Was hoping for some of that bar banging action. We saw, I think it was round 1, I believe, where Glotta had finished right on the rear grab bar of Hunter Hart. Was hoping for some of that here today. Haven't really had it. Everybody has been kind of running their own pace, running their own race. 10, 15-second gaps between everybody. Not made for the most exciting action, but I think you look at the results. Some things shaken up. John Glotta, I think, really solidifying himself as a podium contender today.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's time to stop sitting there acting surprised. I think it's time to be like, is John going to be the one that kind of gets into this top 3 mix and really starts to shake it up? The points issue there in the beginning of the year, that'll be something we follow as the year goes on. But if he's able to keep building on these consistent finishes, he'll be in that discussion with Hunter and Cole.
And here's me going on the screen right now. But junior's mindset. So if I was junior, my thing would be, all right, let's try to progress and get ready for next season. I want to be like, 4th, 5th at the end this year with that one drop in a shortened season. I want to be the guy for one of the guys for next year. So I think he's just taking those steps and putting himself there. Yeah, you guys are saying Hart and Richardson were the big rival in the class, which they are, but Lauda doesn't want to get in that mix too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
He's there. Speaking of battles, I believe we just caught. I think I was Jay Shad making the pass on the Gator. Was that right? Yeah, we're following McGill.
Yeah, I believe that's
And Coltrane is in front of McGill.
Yeah.
Last time we saw it was a 10-second gap.
I think these are a couple lappers. I think Cole's out of screen. That's just a black, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that's Cole. I believe that's a lap rider. Yeah, you see him taking a look over, so.
All right. Didn't know he was going with the red kit
Oh,
today.
yep, there you go. That explained it right there. There were your leaders, or some of your top riders, I should say.
Saw that lapper there slamming on the brakes. Almost got run into there.
He said, here comes Adam McGill. So Adam McGill, if I'm not mistaken, working on Cole Richardson right there. Hey, he's got a shot. He's got a shot. The old Wiley veteran, the 521 Honda of Adam McGill, the Gator, might take a jab at getting another position on the Coltrane. And Cole's in that situation. He can't afford to drop any more positions because the man right in front of him in the point standing, Hunter Hart, 2 positions up on him. So Hunter going to have a little better day as far as the points are concerned. All right. Bryson Neal trying to get things done here at the Camp Coker Bullet. Hart in second, Glauda third, Richardson fourth, and the Gator Adam McGill in fifth. And lurking in the shadows back in the 6th spot, Jay Shadron. The finish, the post-race interviews, all that and more coming up next.
Yamaha YZ450F. Narrower, more compact, and lighter. Built to do one thing: go faster. Flexible financing options offered directly through Yamaha are available. See your local Yamaha dealer today.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment, whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends. Professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races. I won the championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida, where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees, and you're doing 230s and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery.
GNCC Racing is brought to you by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. And welcome back, RacerTV.com. Alongside Cody Collier, Zach Aaron, and Jackson Burrell have made their way down to the finish line for those post-race interviews coming up here in just a little bit. Cody Collier, help us out, man. We're going to take a look back at 2022 here at the Camp Coker Bullet. The defending champ at that time, Walker Fowler, duking it out with Bryson Neal. Look at the number one up there in the fight.
Yeah, Sneaky Steak with a great start. Number 2 of Hunter Hart. Yeah, all these guys look very different. This is last year's numbers, last year's setup kits. So, yeah, very different from last year, but a lot of the same guys out front. Minus Walker, there's McClure, Cole, Hunter, Junior all in that pack out front. And then here's the 1 and the 241 of Walker and Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal running the triple digit where he got in that incident with the F-150, showed it.
Oh, yeah.
So he ended up not getting a national number that year, ran the triple digit, run his lifetime number, I brought that back, so yeah. Here they are.
Here it is.
Got about the bars here coming through pits, letting them have it.
Man, that was just that in person was just incredible to cut back down and make that pass right there. And I've got another one right here. Walker Fowler says, anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, right back at you.
That is racing right there, man. If you are new to GNCC, and of course Bryson Neal did get him back. Bryson Neal took the win here. But that's the kind of racing the folks at home love to see, the people here in person love to see, and that's where it's like no love lost on the racetrack. We're going to fist bump, we're going to high five, we're going to shake hands after the race, but those are two grown men going out and trying to get a paycheck right there. And Bryson Neal, you could see that was an emotional win, the fist in the air. That's when you feel good. And Cody, you've had battles like that. You can speak to that. You're going up against a guy like you going up against, Landon Wolf or whatever, defending champ.
Yeah,
those wins are big.
Yeah, very much like my last couple of years, trying to get the best of the land, and he didn't make it easy at all. He didn't make it easy until last year where he raced the partial season. Yeah. But no, absolutely, trying to get your first big win over the number one guy, and you worked so hard to get to that point, and just to have everything finally click, and you feel like you won straight up. That was just, I got the best from the day, and just try to, that confidence breed wins, bring confidence breed wins. And now he's got that number one on his back.
Yeah, man, what a season it was just a short year ago. And Walker Fowler, he is out here this weekend. Let the folks at home know he is here this weekend. We were hoping to get him in the booth. Wasn't able to make that happen. All good, completely understandable. But I know Walker's, anytime he's here, he wants to come in and call a little racing with us. So for that, we thank you. And it's just good to see him out here, obviously not racing yet. And we'll stay tuned on that. That is his timeline to figure out for sure. But
Yeah, I don't want to rush it. Don't want to get re-injured.
Absolutely.
You want it to be healed when you come back.
That's absolutely right.
The most important thing for him.
Yep. So watching our finish line camera, we're waiting on the number 1 Phoenix Racing Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet out of Ohio. See if he can't take a win here at the Camp Coker Bullet.
Yeah, he got an easy one today, having that minute 50 gap that just spawned on that second lap. So he had it easy today. That definitely appreciates this one after last round. So just able to cruise to the finish, maintained right around that 2-minute gap, and just going to bring it home. Lap time dropping significantly, knowing how to maintain the race, and going to be hard to knock that guy down.
It is, man. It is one of those situations, you know, if you are Bryson Neal in that, he won't say it because he's humble, but I'll say it. You know, if you come out and he has a race like this after the mechanical, I'm the guy. You guys, I'm telling the rest of the guys, you need me to have a mechanical failure if you want a shot at beating me.
Yeah.
That's the kind of confidence he carries. And again, he'll never come out and say that. He's a humble dude, which I love, but I mean, that's the reality of it, though.
That's the mindset, you know. The only person that's going to beat me is me, and
there you go.
It's a great mindset to have, and it's hard to knock a guy down that's got that mindset.
Yep. But like I said, hey, you got to put it all together. You, the rider, the machines, got to stay together. All those factors. So, not taking anything away from Hunter Hart's win a couple of weeks ago. I think very well earned. You got to be in the right spot. You got to be in the fight. Bryson wasn't in the fight late in that one, and Hunter Hart was there to capitalize. White flag out, waiting on our leader, Bryson Neal, to check in.
Yeah, you got to wonder if anyone's going to knock him off straight off this year.
Yeah,
straight up this year. Bryson's just executing. This is how we see the track, all the things he's doing. Hopefully these guys progress, keep those gaps close. It's 15 and 20 seconds between the guys you expect to be up there. They're all seem to be on that same pace. They just they got to find that next step.
Well, I got to think. No, I got to think. Okay, keeping our eyes on the finish line. Coming out of this one, Cole Richardson, I think, going to be a guy you got to circle his name going into Indiana in a couple weeks. If he does finish behind Glotta off the box, Cole Richardson's going to be heated when we get into Indiana in a couple of weeks. I think he's going to come out swinging. He's not going to be happy finishing off the box. I mean, he's not going to be happy finishing behind Hunter and Bryson to begin with, but not getting it on the podium, not getting that post-race interview, not getting to thank the sponsors on the podium is huge. And in that same breath, John Glotta Jr. building more confidence.
Yep.
Building more confidence if he can hang on here for a checkered flag. 2 minutes away now from seeing the checkered flag in this one. Just over 2 hours in this race as we wait on Bryson Neal.
Waiting here on the leaders. Great ride for Stephen Harrell of the XC2 class. Looks like he's going to go 5 for 5. I haven't seen that in a while in any of the classes this year.
Okay. Just let me know as you know. Oh, okay. I just wanted to, you want me to say something? I would just like to. Okay. All right, give you guys a quick update here. Not sure the extent of the details as we watch the leader on screen, but it sounds like there may be a penalty coming into play for Bryson Neal. The extent of it, we're not 100% sure. We will inform you as we know more to let the folks at home know. Officials are going to review with Bryson Neal and the Phoenix Racing Yamaha team, but in the meantime, we're going to call it like we see it. Bryson Neal comes in for the checkered flag, and at least for the moment, the race win. We'll let the officials, that's above my pay grade.
To me, that sounds like there was a bottleneck, and Bryson, the rule is to get off the track and re-enter as soon as possible.
Yes.
If that was the soonest possible place to re-enter, if you didn't want to go backwards down the track to get a better spot, that's where he popped back on track. And
correct.
Not cutting off miles or anything, but if he's cutting off a decent little section, that's the only spot to do it. I don't know know how you can argue that. Because there was a couple places I eyeballed out there while walking the track. Well, I was like, if this gets bottled up, I'm going to have to cut right up this hill and cut off this whole section, but I can't backtrack. I just can't. So hopefully, he's not out there doing anything malicious, not trying to cut the track or anything. So hopefully
definitely
everything gets ironed out over there.
Yeah, definitely not a jab at Bryson by any means. He's a stellar guy. He's there with Kerry Joe Russell and everybody, and Bryson, a respectable rider. I think everybody that lines up beside him on the racetrack would say the exact same thing. So he is going off with.
Let's go look at it.
Let's go look at the line, right, Cody? Hey, show me where it happened. Absolutely. So he rode off with Jared Bolton. They're going to go take a look at that. So we'll report more on that as we learn. But like we said, we're going to call it like we see it. Right now, this is Bryson Neal's win until we hear differently. Hunter Hart sitting in the 2 spot. 2 minutes back, so we wait at the finish line here. I'm going to steal it from Rodney Tillman again. Bated breath. A lot happening right now. Little fireworks, and what really has we spoke a little bit off air. Not boring. There's not a boring GNCC out there. But with the time gaps today, Cody, everybody was kind of, hey, I'm riding in my own helmet. I'm on my own island out here.
I don't think it's not exciting. I think we've been spoiled with the great
excitement. We've been spoiled. There you go.
Spoiled with the excitement. We've
that
had some great
is absolutely correct.
So,
maybe.
Hopefully Neal doesn't get docked as we see it on screen. I just don't see him doing anything malicious.
Well, yeah, but rules are rules. Johnny, do you have some insight on this?
I do unofficially. I have no idea what the decision is, but I have heard what the infraction was.
Okay.
The line where he passed John Glaude Jr. for second, they have measured it, and they will determine, but I have heard that it may be over 25 feet. To be clear, from what I've heard, it is marginally over 25 feet, but the rule is 25 feet. So this could be, we won't. This could be anything from a warning to a there is a precedent set based on if, and again, this is I am not a race official in this application. I am just giving previous experience. If a position is gained, you are generally docked to that position plus a penalty position. So I don't know if this is in fact what is being reviewed. Here we see Hunter Hart working his way into the finish line, but I have been told that GNCC course officials have gone out. They have inspected the line. I was told by someone who was there that the line itself was bannered off after he used it. Whether or not it was bannered when he used it, I'm not saying that is the case. So, but there was a line in question that it may be over the established rule of 25 feet. So they're discussing that with him now. We'll wait and see what the official review. But I heard you guys saying, I don't think, regardless of the outcome of this, I don't think anything in most cases is done maliciously. These guys are trying to gain every advantage. They're out there, and typically when you walk the track, you don't have a tape measure in your pocket. It's kind of a judgment call of if you think it's 25 feet or not. So that said, if it is determined to not be 25 feet, it's not a matter of intentional course cutting as much as it is maybe a lapse in judgment, and it may come out that they say nope, it was within 25 feet, everything's good, results stand. We'll wait to see from the officials what the official ruling is on this, but that is the explanation as it was giving to me as exactly what is going on. You can see, I know Hunter is aware of it. He may have actually seen it from what I'm understanding. John Glaude Jr. aware of it. He was the rider that I was told, secondhand information, was actually passed in the line. But again, Bryson clearly with a dominant victory as it stands right now, that line likely not the deciding factor, but nonetheless, rules are rules. Things need to be adhered to, and we will see what the race officials and Racer Productions decide here.
That's right. We did see, Johnny, we saw Bryson jump on the back of Jared Bolton's bike. They're going to go out and take a look at that. So Bryson going to see it with his own eyes. How about this shot? Hunter Hart spent. That's right. I mean, there's a man that I heard you talking about his training at Croom down in Florida. This is a man that is conditioned for heat, conditioned for sand, and that man's whooped. Taken for the moment, unofficially, a P2 on the day.
Yeah, and regardless of how this does pan out, I mean, I think we learned a lot today. I mean, we saw obviously Bryson Neal was able to kind of once again march his way up through, was able to get to the lead, and then systematically just continued to stretch that lead out, looking fresh at the finish line. So obviously his fitness and his preparation are top notch. You know, Hunter able to come across the line officially in second. Again, we hate to talk in riddles and rhymes here, but we do know that things are under review, so we don't want to make official claims about the results. You guys can see how they cross the finish line physically. The race officials will determine what that means when they put it into the scorecard at the end of the weekend, and what that means for the points and ultimately the actual finishes moving forward. But Hunter Hart obviously just absolutely spent, but given it a hero's effort to cross the line physically second. John Glada Jr. did come across the line in third, so another podium for John Glada Jr. Don't even see him. He's so spent, he might have gone back to the motorhome to take a nap. But yeah, those guys, warriors effort. Cole Richardson was there in that fourth spot. Was he able to hang on to that? We did hear that he and Adam McGill had a hoedown throwdown on the last lap, and McGill actually was able to catch up to him. So yeah, a good run for that's your top 5 as they come in. Now we see Wyatt Wilking coming in. That might be your 7th place. I believe Jay Shadron would be in there as well in 6th, and then Wyatt Wilking crossing the line in 7th. 8th last we saw was Jared McClure, and there is John Glada Jr. Again, all these guys, folks at home, if you know, I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but the level these guys train at and the amount of time that they spend on ATVs, you know, preparing themselves for this in 2 hours completely wipes out the energy, the reserves, the grit. A track like this just takes everything you have to give to compete at the highest level.
Just incredible shot. Love to see it. I don't know that I want to experience it, but it just.
I really think you should.
I'm in. Let's do it. I'm in. I have so much respect for these guys to see it. I know there's a viral video that 1 million people have reposted of Florida GNCC last year on the bike side with this kind of situation of guys sucking air, completely depleted of all electrolytes, and just trying to hang on to the point of almost being lethargic. And there's a smile for John Glada Jr. right there. I think, Zach Herron, if you're ready, man, take it away. Let's hear from John Glada Jr.
Yeah, you guys noticed that big smile. I said, John, how about that start? Let's start from the top, man. You came around the first turn first. Take us through that, and then take us through the rest of your race out here.
You know, I practiced some starts today and was able to pull the whole shot. That felt great. I haven't ripped a whole shot here since like 2017. And then you know, I was just trying to ride smart and not make any mistakes. First lap, I went and looked at this mud hole before the race, and it had way more water in it when we came through the first lap. And this thing sucked in some water, and I was spitting and sputtering for a mile or two. And Hunter got around me, and I was trying to keep Bryson behind me, and then finally it cleared up. And I was trying to pull a little bit of a gap. I think Bryson might have had some mistake or something happen the first lap. We got a little bit ahead of him. And then, you know, just tried to ride smart the whole race. It was brutal. 5 laps on this track was not fun. It was very brutal. But we were able to hold on to it for the top 3.
Absolutely, man. We were talking about it even in the booth. I think now you've cemented yourself as one of those guys that we expect to see fighting for the podium every weekend. It's the final round down here in the South. Any big changes before we move up north?
No, not really. Just like to keep the momentum rolling and hopefully get a win here soon.
There we go, guys. John Glada Jr. unofficially taking 3rd right now. We'll keep you guys postponed.
All right, there we go, guys. That just shows you how deep John Glada Jr. went today. Talking about 5 laps on this track, just absolutely took everything that he had out of him. He said it was not fun. You know, racing for 99.9% of the people out there, fun. For guys that are trying to compete at the very highest level, you're taking yourself to a place that very few people can even wrap their heads around. You know, the level of pain, determination, intensity it takes to be able to ride at that level for 2 hours. What was the finish time? 2 hours and 15, 16 minutes?
2:06 if you're Bryson Neal, but I mean that's your fastest guy out there. So yeah, outside of that, yeah, Johnny, you're right. I mean, 2 hours 15 minutes or longer for a lot of these guys.
And then there's the lapper that came through the finish right in front of Bryson.
Yeah,
that's got another 30+ minutes to do out there.
So here we have, it looks like Jackson is ready with another of our top 3 finishers here, Hunter Hart.
All right, Hunter, of course we know the scores are not official, but a solid ride out of you today. Take me through it. How's it feel to be back in the sand?
Shoo-wee.
me, man, it was rough to say the least. Pumped I led, man, maybe lap and a half today, you know. Great start. And then from there, we just kind of, Junior hit a mud hole, bike cut out. I ended up getting him in a corner there. And then I just ran my own race. You know, I led a good bit. Bryson was all over me. I knew I just had to make this thing wide, and we were doing a great job of it. I just missed a little inside corner. He got me. And then from there, I just tried to stay hang tough as long as I could. And we were doing solid. And then, you know, just ended up on the third lap. There was just this real tight section, ended up tagging a tree. Actually didn't even tag a tree, just kind of bike popped out of the ruts, had to get off, pull it over. Junior caught me, and then him and I were going good, and ended up just unfortunately, you know, it was a real tight section. Lapper ended up hitting a tree, and then we were just stuck there. And yeah, it was all in all a good day. Excited on the way I rode, and yeah, we're here, and I feel okay. Hands are a little beat up, but all in all, excited for the way I did. Best finish to date here, so I'll take it.
Hunter, I've got to ask you, how does it feel going into round number 6 now that we're heading out of the South?
Good, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go home, ride some dirt, and get in the zone. You know, get some good seat time under me, and we'll go from there.
All right, guys, that's Hunter Hart.
Hunter Hart, one of our top 3 finishers. And ladies and gentlemen, I think what we've all been waiting for, I believe Zach Herron stands by down there with Bryson Neal. Give him a quick second. Hey, we head into Indiana, Johnny. I don't know how all the points are going to sort out, but coming into today, it was a 3-point spread between Hunter Hart and Bryson Neal.
Yeah, and this looms large with what this decision is here, and if the line is deemed to be outside the top 25 and what the penalty is, that will affect the points one way or the other. Yeah. So it looks like we may have Zach down here with Bryson Neal, who did cross the finish line first today and put in a heck of a ride. We'll wait and kind of wait for the official word, but I think Zach's down there and able to get a word on the ride Bryson put in today.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with the number 1. Obviously, a look of disappointment. Bryson, not the news we're wanting to hear right now. Just take us through things from your point of view and where you're sitting right now.
Oh, I don't even know, man. I just did my thing. Bike ran great all day. I rode great. You know, after last race, having a bad race, you know, having a problem with my front end. And not really scoring any points. You know, I was really looking to come out here today and try to get out and do what I did. You know, try to get out front and get away and be able to ride my own race and try to bring home a clean win. And I guess on the first lap, whenever I passed Glada, there was the inside line, and there's already tracks through it. And I went through it, and almost something grabbed me and almost ripped me. And I only did it 1 lap, and I guess it was 3 feet over or something like that, over the track penalty for 25 feet, and it was 3 feet over. And it sucks because I wish I would have known, because if they would have stopped me or someone would have came forward and just held me for 30 seconds or a minute, whatever, I would have been way more happy with that. But, you know, it sucks. You know, we work really hard for this stuff, and, you know, the lap times, they don't lie, and it's hard to take. It's hard to take. And the last lap, my clutch cable, something happened with it, and I had no free play. I had no feeling in my clutch at all. So that was already had me on pins and needles. And getting through that 5.5 to the 8 mile marker, that twisty, tight, man, I was on pins and needles. I was hoping I wouldn't catch somebody in a bad position where they was stuck in the middle of the track or something. But just bummed. You know, my Phoenix Racing ATV Yamaha, CST tires, Hauser A-arms, Zoka shocks, DWT wheels, this DAS engine, everything was clicking great today. I'm really happy with my team, but this one hurts. It hurts for sure.
Without a doubt, Bryson. Now, have you officially been told where you're going to be before, as far as the penalty goes?
They told me 2-position penalty.
Okay, so we will still see you 3rd overall on the day, still on the box. Disappointed, but nonetheless still putting it on the podium.
Yeah, yes, sir. So we'll, I guess, just go home and keep working hard and come back to the next one.
Bryson Neal trying to focus on the positives moving north.
Well, folks, that is one of those situations that really, honestly, nobody is happy with. I mean, obviously, rules are rules. As he explained it, 3 feet over the defined course limits. We do know that the established penalty is 1 position for that infraction. However, if you gain a position, you are docked an additional position. So he was docked the position that he gained when he passed John Glada Jr. by utilizing that line, and then additional penalty position, 2 points dropping him, or 2 positions dropping him from first to third, which is a 9-point swing, meaning Hunter Hart, now who was only 3 points behind, will be, with the extra 5 that he gains, he will be 6 ahead of Bryson Neal. So that will be the way things should work out. So there is the round 5 winner, and also new 2023 points leader as they run. That said, and you know, I'm gonna go ahead and, as a racer, step in here and say something. Bryson Neal rode a great race today.
Yes.
Rules are rules. Hunter Hart won this race fair and square, the way it works out with the rules. But Bryson Neal absolutely displayed the speed, the determination, the class that we've seen all year. And I'm going to say it right now. These guys just created a monster. Because
no doubt,
Bryson Neal is going to be on a mission to prove a point when we roll in to round number 6. And I don't want to be any part of anyone trying to stop him from winning that race. That said, we're closing things out here from the Camp Coker Bull at the FMF Camp Coker. And Mikey Waynes, you do the honors.
Hey, listen, cold chills, Johnny. I just got cold chills because as much as it sucks, tune into the Hoosier GNCC in a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be a good one. Congratulations to Hunter Hart. Right place, right time. 2 in a row for him. Got to thank our entire staff. Of course, they call us talent. How about that? Mikey Waynes, that's me. Jackson Burrell, Johnny Gallagher, Zach Herron, Cody Collier. We got to get your name on there, dude.
I know, they've been slacking the last couple rounds.
We snubbed you. Camera operators, Gabe, Dylan, Adam, Matt, Josh, and David. The drone pilot, Daniel Rogerson. Of course, our spotter, Hollywood. Jordan McFadden, the EIC, our director, Nick Vosberg, our producer, Adam Gordon, and our executive producer, Miss Carrie Jo Russell. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.